Yes, that's right. It's Wednesday, 6:15 Eastern, infidels. You know where the place to be is. It's twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman on Russo brand on the Realm Network at hackerhameen.podbean.com, Google Play Music, iTunes, Stitcher. We're everywhere, infidels. You can't escape the truth because it's going to track you down. The conspiracy horsemen are out picking their targets and mowing them down left and right as the chat room fills up here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman, where the cool kids are on the debut every Wednesday night, 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time, with Big Salallah, the Greek god Papadon, Big Stevie Cool, and Hacker Hameen. You know where it is. And that's right, infidels, because it's not the same anymore, because you don't know the game. What we need is awareness. We can't get careless. You say, what is this? My beloved's getting down to business, mental self-defense, fitness, and that's what we bring here. All the hand block tactics to keep out all the disinformation and misinformation as we cut through the bullshit to bring you the truth, because we are the conspiracy horsemen. YOLO! That's right, guys. Fight the powers that be. Public enemy number 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're all here. The heavy hitters are back. Nobody got choked out and hung themselves from a doorknob this week. So good on all you guys, man, for not bowing down. But glad to be back with my brothers after a super long weekend. And as we head into a great monumental time for all of us here, where all 4 of the horsemen are going to be together at Dynasty at All Horsemen on 6:30 in Rome, New York. Defending our Dynasty Tag Team Championships and looking to take home the Dynasty World Heavyweight Championship as well out of this tournament. So, y'all infidels, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, go to wearethedynasty, I believe.com, or just check us out on Facebook. Easy to find, Dynasty Pro Wrestling. And you don't want to miss this show because it's going to be a hot one. You never know who we're going to take out, why, when, and where, or just everybody. We're going to leave everybody laying, I got a feeling. But what up, GGP? Missed you last week. We had Raymond Wiley on, a great guest. So, somebody I think you really would have enjoyed being on with, man. Really great time Stevie had brought him on. But everyone was asking for you. We missed you. How you been?
Doing well, man. I missed you guys as well. Unfortunately, had to bow out for a week, but I'm back now with a vengeance. About to lay down the law. We're going to put Chris Envy in our pocket. Snap around Mr. Man on the 30th. Tell Mike King to go back to wherever he came from, and we're taking over. We're going to make the company better.
That's right, man. Making Dynasty great again, just like doing up north of the border. But right now, from Born on a Pirate Ship, he's out sailing the 7 seas. It's my man, the two-eyed bandit, Big Sal. What's going on?
What's going on, gentlemen? Wow, just it's been one of those days. Like I got on with you, we were both just like, hey, real mellow, and just
yeah.
I haven't been online a lot all day. Been, doing hump work. So it's like, this is some decompressed time, and glad to see everybody in the chat room, and you guys better fucking entertain us today.
So wait a minute. So you're a pirate and you had a hump day today. Does that mean you're long Sal Silver today?
No, not at all.
Just checking.
Let's move on.
He's got the Hulk Hogan facial hair, Al Snow facial hair coming in, though, as well. So I like that.
Yes, it is
good.
pretty gray, so it is more of the Al Snow facial hair.
I think we're all sporting it. Actually, I just washed and oiled up my beard with products from CanYouHandlebar.com. Thank you for sending me all that stuff, CanYouHandlebar.com. And the beard's coming back in strong. I like it. Heel mode himself. Big Stevie, how's it going, bro?
Yeah, except I shaved the sides and the back of my hair, so I got like the total pro wrestler look when the hair is back, like a bald underneath above the ears, but then I have a bushy beard. So I look like that guy from the Midget Championship Wrestling now. God bless his soul. God rest his soul. Is that what Envy looks like? Yeah. I don't even remember what he looks like. So I just remember when the payoffs were, the envelopes are. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I think this was the perfect week for us to do, like, the filming, the show, the All Been, the live podcast, just a conglomerate of all of it, especially how terrible wrestling has been. We literally have the SmackDown flu, Ben and I. Dude, I'm sure Sal has a little bit.
It kicked the shit out of me because, I didn't get home till, really, it was Tuesday at 4:30 in the morning after that Monday show in Toronto. I drove all the way back and crashed out for 5 or 6 hours, but I had to get up and watch all of Raw take a break for 45 minutes, then watch all of SmackDown, then do Russo. It just kicked the shit out of me, man. There's no doubt. So today I was still in that like jet lag, dream state. I had to lay down for like an hour and a half because I knew I'd just be a bumbling idiot if I came on tonight without doing that, man.
I know I didn't
watch it.
Yeah, I know I didn't put in the time you two did. I tuned in for a couple minutes, but I started talking to you, and then I got tired and decided to go break Cultist's neck. Just ran jumped in and
without me again.
Well, you were busy.
I have an iPad to not watch that show, so it's a smaller screen. It'll be less painful. I have a new trick now where I get the plane and I fly, and then I jump out in the parachute and I get to watch the plane go into the outpost. And I take a screenshot like right at impact. It's because I'm sure as I'm not going to be able to defeat these 100 like cultists without you.
I just run I go around. It takes me like an hour. And I'll just walk around breaking everybody's neck, not sounding alarms off or nothing.
Is that the trick? I just run in and start shooting.
And I got the bat with the teeth in it. It's got everybody's teeth in it. Nice. And I just walk out and fucking hit everybody in the back of the head with the bats.
Speaking of cultists, I got to go ahead, Stevie.
I got super heat, and I didn't realize it because in Far Cry 5, by the way, we're talking about. You should have drank that last night. By the way,
I tried.
About a video game. All right,
yeah,
fair enough.
Far Cry. We have to let them know that we are not talking about real life for a second. So I'm sitting there, and my wife walks by, and in the game you have to kill animals to get the pelt or the fur, so you can get loot, so you can get some money, so you can buy, a plane or a fucking boat or whatever. So at this particular moment, I saw a cow, which huge heat for the rest of it. Huge heat. We don't. Yeah. And I was lectured about.
Put this out there. You didn't have to kill the cow, did you? You crazy bastard.
I was like, you couldn't revive it for some reason. I don't understand what happened. But here's my wife who tried to be the baby face. Now tell me this. She goes, now we have the rule when you play the video games, you only kill people. So it's like, I can live with that.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Yeah, even digital cows have PETA bucking for them at this point. I got to tell you about, you guys said you were killing cultists, but I'll tell you about this show. I mean, it was a great weekend, man, up north of the border. It was cool with Border Town Wrestling, and then Crossfire, we did great business. Actually, put this MMA kid who they were honoring in the camel clutch. It was pretty bad. His whole team was going nuts. But then Monday, I worked for the Megan brothers who do these events, man. And I've never, whether it's the Hardys or the Bucks, they come from, backyard. And I've never worked a backyard show in my life until this weekend. But this possibly could be the most epic yarder show of all time. They had about a $20,000 film camera crew there. I mean, Steve, you would have been going crazy over the tech, like the cameras and stuff that these guys had. I was like,
are these the guys the one that were the Sheik managers?
Yeah, they're the Sheik's nephews. Yeah, Iron Sheik's nephews. Okay. They run all the social media and stuff. The Megan brothers out of Toronto. They do just big, crazy events. So they had that. They had 5-star catering. There was 400. Well, not all Orthodox Jews, but a lot of them. So no women allowed at the event. It was Shabbos Mania 3. They had a full entrance ramp, Titantron. They even had pyro in the backyard. Like, not just like people setting off sparklers. Like, here's the cue, hit the pyro, and things going off. Let's see, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un were there, so I got a good shot with them. And then, like any indie show, Colt Cabana was there and won the Jewish heavyweight title. I saw the Master Lock finally get broken in a backyard by a small Jewish guy. Chris Masters was defeated by a 5'6" Jew, and then like all great.
Envy was there.
Then all great backyard wrestling shows. Jake the Snake Roberts did a run in and threw a python on the owner, and it actually bit him. So it was a pretty insane night, man. Just crazy.
Ben, I said, Ben, that is definitely somebody's Make-A-Wish.
I think it was my Make-A-Wish. Am I dying?
Bald kid in the crowd who's going, it happened. It happened.
I wish. They don't even know how to leave with heat like WWE doesn't know how to get any kind of heat, because I would have beat Colt Cabana and then dedicated the match to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Well, he goes, actually, Colt said, they're like, welcome everybody tonight. And the guy said something, he goes, Jesus. Colt goes, he's not welcome here. Like, even Colt buried Jesus. And, it was a big night. Like, Colts worked some crazy shows with ICP and all that. And when those guys are looking around in the backyard going, what the fuck is this, man? Like, you're in a strange place, man. It had that feel, but it was an awesome time with the Megan brothers. Definitely, this is the second time I've been out with them, but it's just, everybody's like, this is so different from anything else we've ever done before. But I was thinking of you, Stevie, because I did the kids show first, and then they get the kids out of there. And then I did my match, and then at the end they had a battle royal where they bring guys in from the synagogue who aren't workers at all, and they're in there with the workers. So what could possibly go wrong?
Oh, that's tremendous.
So yeah, so this one dude, the Yid, he's about as tall as he is wide, and yeah, he's the big hero, and he's the
1, 2, 3 Yid.
That's
You
great.
can paint them all up like clowns and have jugalos. This would be tremendous.
I'll get you on next year. But I did like you had recommended, the locker room winner. I was the second one out pretty much in there. I just told Yid to duck one, and then he got me out of there, and people were popping huge, for that, man. But it was a crazy time.
Hey, you got to tell the story about you repeat the story about the Trump reaction, like you were talking about SJWs and how everybody supposedly hates Trump.
So, like, I'm on this other thread with my buddy who's, he's got the SJW mindset, and that's fine. I've known the dude for 25 years. I'm not just going to bury him and be like, I'm not friends with you anymore. Everyone can believe what the fuck they want. But in his thread, like, he posted something about, with Trump separating the kids at the border and all that, and they were showing like Nazi concentration camps, and then like an overhead view of like what Trump's look like, and they look pretty identical. And everyone's like, they are Nazis. This is like, we're beyond the beginning of a Nazi revolution. This is in it. And I just go, I post on that. I go, I just did a show in front of 400 plus Orthodox Jews, and the biggest pop of the night was when Donald Trump came out, and they were all putting him over massively. So I think if the 400 Orthodox Jews don't have a problem with Trump doing what he's doing, it's kind of tough to call him a Nazi at that point. But then Kim Jong-un came down and called off the peace treaty and threw a bag of cocaine in his face. So it was,
beautiful.
but yeah, dude, Trump got over huge, man, at the Orthodox
That
Jew
absolutely
show.
sounds like it would draw twice the ratings, if not 3 times more than Raw and SmackDown. Like, just that show, like, ridiculous.
It was.
That's the Christopher Guest wrestling reality show.
Yep.
Right?
It definitely was, man. It was something on a whole nother level. And the Megan brothers are just crazy, man. They're identical twins, and it's tough to tell them apart who you're talking to Gian or Paige. But just when you think it couldn't get any weirder, like they just, we're going to add this in there and something else totally oddball happens, dude. And then to be in front of like 400 Jews who've never watched wrestling or even TV. So like if you do the rock bottom, they don't know it's the rock bottom. Like that's like you invented the rock bottom or you invented the Stone Cold Stunner. They don't have any frame of reference to put that over with. So good times, man, up in Toronto. And the Jay Moore infamous Babyface tour was a good time with Congo Khan kicking the shit out of people and Phil Atlas. Good time, man. So, y'all, that's your wrestling update, the road report from Hacker Hameen. But crazy times, man, all the way around. So people are asking us, what are we going to do today? And I said, that's a good fucking question. And none of us told Pop it on. So it's all a big surprise to him as well.
All I said was we're going to do conspiracy theories and free thinking like we do every episode.
I know, but in the chat you were like, what are we doing? Got no sold. Like 3 hours later, what are we doing? No sold.
Well, I figured Aria Blake's 7,000 followers would just take care of the rest. We wouldn't have to worry about it.
Look at this guy.
Shots
he grows a
fired.
beard. He finally grows a pair of balls.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Hey, you like conspiracies?
Here we go. He's back. They got to get in 2 weeks worth of you.
You know what, man?
I'm a big fan.
9/11 was an inside job. Do you mind? By the way, inside. Can I get inside you?
Stop, stop. Come on, man. Not at all. Come on, don't be.
Good times.
I'm just kidding. I'm just giving him a hard time. That's all.
Oh, shit.
Relax.
Aria Blake, what up, though, girl? Holler at me. Holler at me.
Well, we're gonna find out. Hey, we're gonna find out if she subscribed after this.
Right? Probably. Let's see. I'm trying to get this Trump pick downloaded quick. But tonight we're gonna do.
How many mailbag or general neutral messaging do we have?
There's
today?
a fair amount in there. So that's what we're gonna do is Echo Mike, Alpha, Indigo, Lima, Sierra, hit your guys' emails because we felt, we didn't really feel that bad about it, but you guys have been writing into us so much, but the shows are going like 2 hours and 45 minutes, so we wanted to make sure everything got covered, and we're doing another show at All Bin. So 2 shows this week. So this one might be a little shorter. You never know once we get going. How long things will take, but we're all just kind of stepping to the table with our own little bit tonight because our chat's been going good. GGP's been sharing some awesome links, man. I watched a couple of those that you sent, and Stevie too, and just just kind of backtrack. So it'll be kind of a potpourri of things as well as your guys' email tonight. Let me see.
Cool. Well, we were going to talk a little bit about that Space Force before we got into that, right?
Yeah,
about
sure,
Trump
absolutely.
And the Space Force and all that stuff. I was watching some more Corey Good stuff and everything, and it's strangely aligned. There's that Trump picture. It's strangely aligned with what like Trump is trying. I don't know. I think it's like he's a rib in most cases, but it's like he's a rib that's shooting, like a 100% shoot, like everything he's saying.
Yeah.
But it's the way of, I guess, soft disclosure, soft truth telling, or true, people, everything getting out. It's crazy that it really is kind of in line with what these Corey Good people and the Gaia people are talking about.
You think Corey Good's sitting back right now smoking a big fat Cuban cigar saying, I told you guys.
Yeah, dude, right? Like he's got to feel somewhat vilified. I'm surprised he hasn't like come out of the woodwork in the last week where everybody's gotten him on, It definitely seems like there's an opportunity to do that. But if you guys don't know, you can check out Disclosure on YouTube. It's a series from Gaia.com, GAIA.com. It's kind of like a Netflix for somewhat conspiracy, a lot of frequency and free thought, and a little bit of new age thinking. And he goes in on like a 5 or 6 part series and talks about how he was an empath for aliens and the Space Force, and they took him at a young age, and like legit how it is at the end of They Live, where in 4 minutes he went from the Earth to the moon and was teleported and then to another ship and was talking about all this stuff. And then Stevie, you had sent along, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, I'm pretty sure it was you, about a couple things with moon landing being fake, but then there was a video in there about Neil Armstrong, 1969, taping inside some type of structure that was on the moon, man. Like if you were to walk into not a pyramid necessarily, but some type of ancient structure where it had door casings that were completely square, but then inside you would see, what could be like moon structure where it would be built into it, kind of like a house built into the earth into the side of a mountain or something like that. I had never seen that footage, man, and it is pretty crazy because a couple times you get to see, the astronaut in there. Now, could this be footage that they faked? Absolutely. But at the same time, what they had built looked kind of like you're walking around in like Flintstones type of house. You know what I mean? And then the door casings would be square. So definitely not just, we found a space cave and we're exploring it. There was Dorian columns and things in there as well. It was pretty damn interesting. I'm not sure if you watched that video to go along with it.
Was that rich guy?
Was popping on.
It was popping on.
Oh, I sent the Rich Planet, but popping on. You sent the strong thing today. I believe that was you.
Yeah. The Rich Planet one was good too. I like that. Even though it's boring, it's not like bells and whistles with music and shenanigans.
Right.
It's very factual, and I like it. It gets straight to the point, and it's logic and it's science. It's not emotional, confession of why he feels it's fake or if it's not. He just breaks it down from a logistics standpoint and just says, hey, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 in this instance, and this is why.
And then in that other one he sent with Buzz Aldrin saying that there was ships way bigger than ours and that we weren't welcome there. Like we knew we weren't welcome when we hit the moon. And then the video that was under it was supposedly Neil Armstrong taping all this as they go inside these ancient structures that were abandoned on the moon. And, you know, maybe they faked it, but in that footage, it was just 4.5 minutes of them walking around with an old film camera. And it goes a little bit blurry, but then comes in clear. And you can tell you're seeing something that's not of this earth. So it has to either be Hollywood made or else it's the legit shit from them being up there. So we kind of ribbed ourselves with like really good videos of like we've never been there, but then also confessional ones of like, you know, the guys saying we were there and shit got way different than what you've been told. So very interesting on either aspect. But to go back to Corey Good, that kind of does, like Papa Don said, vilify his story of him sitting back with a big cigar going, fuck you all. You wanted to shit on me for the last 5 years after I tried to tell you something. And now here we are with Space Force. Big Sal.
Could be worse.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, it could be worse. Could be. Big Sal, what are you thinking, man?
Nothing really. My full belief is that, you know, they had Kubrick do the actual the TV one of space, that shoot. But yeah, I started watching the thing Ben is talking about, and again, I have a hard time believing that, you know, we faked it, but there's other shit up on the moon. Like, I don't know. It's
What about the Secure Team 10 stuff though? Just from like 2 or 3 weeks ago that we shared with each other, where it was showing those big, you know, almost Star Destroyer looking ships covering certain aspects, moving slowly across the surface that they said in scope had to be minimum like almost a 1/4 mile in length to scale. So, you know, I definitely like to think what we saw was faked, but then here's all this other shit that, you know, this is why we faked it, because you definitely couldn't show that shit to the public 1969, right?
Absolutely not, because it'd be mass hysteria. And, you know, dogs would start living with cats and the markets would come crashing down. You know, kayfabe would be broken. Jerry, what's his name? Jerry the King Lawler would have to work outside of Memphis to make $1. It'd be all hysteria. It would be pandemonium running wild. But if we look at it from a realistic point of view, if this is all true, then basically it contradicts flat Earth and it contradicts the firmament.
Sure.
It contradicts everything. So it's either A or B. It can't be both. So I don't know. I don't know what it is, because I saw some videos today. You know, I posted some flat Earth stuff, and I definitely don't believe the Earth is flat. I definitely believe in the globe, but they made some valid points, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue this stuff. You know what I mean? Where all these civilizations, you know, prior, you know, BC, they all believed in a flat Earth. They all had, and I saw a video today where they all saying that something happened 705 years BC where the Earth rose and set twice in one day, and all the calendars prior to that situation, that occurrence, had 360 days, and then within 5 years span they changed it from 360 to 365 to catch up. So even our calendars are off, so we don't even know what year it is. So some crazy stuff I saw today, like a bunch of rabbit holes I fell down today.
I wonder if that has anything to do with coming into or out of Saturnalia, you know,
Could be.
and coming into a heliocentric model. Stevie, what are you thinking, man?
It's definitely subjective. I mean, they can throw all these theories and all these other things, whether Earth is flat, round, or a mixture of both, or pear-shaped, and calendars. And, you know, if you listen to Crow 777, and I mention it almost every episode now, he talks about the equinox, he talks about the calendar, he talks about how everything really is lined. And Crow is a flat earther, right?
I believe so. He doesn't push it like as his main MO, but I think he believes it.
I think, but he's also based on a lot of stuff that is alchemy, is very old science, very old things that have been around much, much longer than even modern science, and probably based in a lot more, fact and testing than what we have here with theory.
Sure.
There's nothing to be said that it doesn't necessarily have to be round. There can be that shape of the Earth that's not round or a flat one that we're still going. We don't even know what space looks like or what outside of our atmosphere, firmament, whatever you want to call it, look like. I mean, there was another one to pop it on. I think it sent talking about the illumination of the moon and people can't land on it. No matter what, like I said, it's that thing, that Cosby math that Sal always says. If the numbers always add up against the narrative and actually has more basis on that and more evidence to point towards that, then of course we're being lied to. I just don't know if would rather have the hysteria of 1969 with the discovery of these starships than today, where you can see disclosure videos that are released by the Pentagon and nobody cares. I mean, what would you rather have?
Yeah. The one thing about that video that I sent about the moon, it was a Richie from Boston video, but the point that really made me raise my eyebrow was two things. One, he said when you're showing the Earth, NASA shows footage from the Earth from the space station, where's all the space debris? How come we don't see it? Right? There's supposed to be 500,000 pieces of space debris and satellites and all that stuff around the Earth, right? So that was one thing. Second thing, the way the Earth was taken a picture of from the moon in 1969. Then he compared the size of the Earth to the size of the moon. And then the moon being not as large as the Earth, when you take a picture from the moon at sea level with his Nikon camera like he did, and he zoomed in and out, you get the size of the moon, and it's relatable considering the size of the Earth being so much bigger. Mathematically, it's proven that the angle, how big the moon is supposed to be. But when you're on the moon and you're looking at the Earth, you can't focus the entire planet into one single picture because the Earth is so much bigger than the moon. So that made no sense. That could be a smoking bullet, a smoking gun right there, which we never went. And that's just a doctored picture.
And Richie puts over that this was supposedly the satellite footage, the actual satellite footage that NASA released. This shit looks like some claymation from Nickelodeon 1988. Like it's no way. Like if that's what our tax dollars went to for some satellite footage, holy shit, we definitely got worked big time, like we always are, man. But I thought those were all awesome. Sal, do you have anything you wanted to add, follow up on that?
No, not at all. No, not at all. Yeah, I'm done. Move on.
It's all good. Chat room, appreciate you guys at twitch.tv/conspiracy horsemen all in the house tonight. We're about 40 strong in there, all the usual suspects. So I wanted to shout out the chat room and appreciate you guys. And they got a pretty good discussion going on in there right now. And it's something I had seen too. It says about these officials release bacteria-infected mosquitoes to fight other mosquitoes.
What a work.
Yeah,
I said that to you guys with the word "right" typed into it because
which part of it? What do you mean by work though? Do you mean work like it's not really happening, or a work that it's not dangerous to humans?
It's a work meaning that the reason why they say they released all these infected mosquitoes was so they can attack other mosquitoes. Yeah. Mosquitoes don't attack mosquitoes. Mosquitoes feed off blood. They attack humans. So if they sent out infected mosquitoes into St. Louis, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me read this real quick. Fighting mosquitoes with mosquitoes. That's a new technique in St. Augustine Anastasia Mosquito Control District is using to kill the mosquito population. As a part of a trial, the Mosquito Control Company is releasing male Asian tiger mosquitoes infected with Wolbachia, a naturally occurring bacteria found in many types of insects. This bacteria cannot be transmitted to people, pets, or any warm-blooded animals. Molly Clark, an educational specialist with mosquito control, said the goal is to dwindle the population and prevent the transmission of mosquito-borne diseases. When the lab-grown males mate with wild female mosquitoes, it causes sterility in females. As a result, none of the eggs laid for the rest of that female's life will be fertile. The Zap mosquitoes are shipped in from Kentucky. The Mosquito Control Company does 3 releases a week in the West Augustine area. Each time they release 40,000 mosquitoes in a 20-mile acre site. In total, 120,000 ZAP mosquitoes are being released on a weekly basis. The mosquito control company said it plans to continue the trial through the mosquito season, which typically ends when the cold weather moves in. Go ahead, GGP.
I guarantee you, Kenny Bolin sold them the mosquitoes in Kentucky. He has to have a hand in this.
He's got it. My boy. Yeah, man. Here's one thing when I think of putting any man-made bacteria or whatever it is into nature, it's going to alter things, obviously, and then that's going to have the natural reaction of evolution so that we act like we can control it. But it's like how they say, if you take antibiotics now or penicillin on some things, it won't even touch some of, whatever it is, 12th generation version of some illness that humans can get now. This could be
like the flu shot.
Yeah, it could be the start of something all new where we're trying to just cut down on some West Nile shit and it actually turns it 10 times worse.
It could be a zombie disease, and then we have to end up being like The Walking Dead or something.
We have no idea. I mean, you're talking about St. Augustine, like St. Augustine, Florida, right?
Yes, I believe so.
What's funny is that in the Atlanta area, there's been like way more mosquitoes like everywhere over the past week or so. Like we've noticed it before this story even came out. I don't know. They have no way of knowing what the repercussions or what kind of genetic kind of problems they're going to cause in future mosquitoes that are coming out. Like, didn't they have that not with the bees? There was something they had, and they're like, flies or something. Where like, oh damn, we did all this stuff. Now we can't even kill them. Wasn't there?
That was the Africanized bees.
Yeah, the Wu-Tang killer bees.
Yeah.
The Wu-Tang.
Stevie, do you eat a lot of bananas?
Do I eat a lot of bananas?
Yes
Why?
or no?
No.
Okay, good. No, because
mosquitoes are drawn to the CO2 mixed with the smell and the potassium, I think, of the bananas.
Something like that. Yep.
Yeah,
They're more inclined to get stung.
Yeah, it comes
So
out
everybody
of your body.
go on a keto diet. There's no sugar, so you won't have banana. No, thank God. Dude, I'm telling you, thank you for saving my life. I appreciate it, Papa Don.
I care.
So as much as you do about Aria Blake.
Aria, don't eat bananas. Come on.
I just don't want to be jealous if you do more her than me. So,
You're number one in my heart, Stevie. You and your Just for Men beard.
Okay.
Speaking of good-looking beards, look at this thing from CanYouHandlebar.com.
No, stop Alex Jones in it, please.
Sorry.
I can't stand it. But if you did that, I think it was last episode. You went on like a 7-minute run. I think last episode.
You got to do it like Alex Jones, so we know you're in shill mode.
I'll practice. I'll get a good one just to get Stevie hot about it.
Then you have your beard because it looks good like this, right?
Alex got a beard now too, man.
Yeah.
Because he's got a sponsorship from Can You Handle This mustache?
I figured recently I saw a video that he just posted, or his, InfoWars posted that he goes after Joe Rogan, calling him a shill.
Wow.
Figured you could rub a couple out to that one, Stevie.
It's true, but
that's his boy too.
That video is the Soros video, which is like, why are you like George Soros was not captured by the Nazis. George Soros helped the Nazis. It's pretty clear. It's pretty much an historical fact. And Joe Rogan, I think Joe Rogan, he's smarter than everybody thinks because he was trashing Colby Covington. And then he put his arm around him and he acted like he was in on the work. It's just Colby's funny. He's trying to be, he's trying to create and sell pay-per-views, and I get it. I'm good with that. But he was legitimately pissed off at him for a little bit, for saying that Colby's going to slap him. But now with that, he's trying to get ahead of all this. And I think he's trolling everybody on the internet by just having an opposite opinion to something that's the more blatant it is. Joe has the deep critical thought and he thinks differently. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He's trying to work the work so it can come off as a shoot. So.
Just stand out. He'll stand out more.
It's almost the reverse of shock value, like the opposite Howard Stern effect. You know what I mean?
He didn't need to, though. He had his fan base of true believers, and he burned his not for a product like Alex has, like selling to the super Christians or anything, but like he had our fan base, and now if you were with him long enough, you can't trust him, man. It's just like, all right, you're sold out for what? So it was either a threat or the fact that they said, well, we'll take your fame away or something along those lines and make sure you're not. But Yeah, the fact that he ran to Dana and bitched out after Colby like made him look stupid online, that was enough for me too. So
Yeah,
I wish you were in the octagon with him and you could have super kicked him as he was trying to put his arm around your man.
absolutely.
I wouldn't be,
Meaning your friend, not your boyfriend. I meant like your buddy.
There was nothing that would happen. That's just all bullshit. Like I didn't think Colby would slap him any more than Joe would, pull out his famous spin kick on him, which everybody's supposed to be afraid of. But he can spin kick me all he wants. I'll take that entire fucking podcast studio, gym, and everything. I'm above suing anybody. Right? You break every rib in my body, I'll recover. But I was gonna say was the interesting thing is there's a clip. If everybody watches this, it's still up. I'm interested in seeing them come back around to the subject where he basically said somebody fucking killed Seth Rich, and basically he stooged off the WikiLeaks, and then someone kills him in a failed robbery. Well, how did you know it was a failed robbery? They didn't take his watch. They didn't take his wallet. This is Joe Rogan almost verbatim saying they killed that motherfucker. Like they killed him. And I'd like to see them come back around and say, well, I did my research, and I mean, I shouldn't really said that, and obviously it was a robbery, and I mean, the police never even investigated the Seth Rich murder any further than failed robbery, and we're done. And it was in D.C., right in the heart of where all those scumbags are.
Yeah, not in a hard part town, and then it comes out that it's possibly MS-13, like. Dude, so many, pieces of the greater puzzle of the problems that come together instead of a random thing. How is that information getting out? Like, it's definitely a stooge report from the inside of those in the know, who
Absolutely.
were probably threatened as well.
Just like 2 minutes after the buildings went down and the planes hit at 9/11, they started blaming Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, beautiful segue, buddy. Good job.
Don't worry, kids. Stick with me.
That's my tag partner right there. Yeah, that was the other one we kind of wanted to talk about that came to the table this week. And, Stevie, I think you're the one who sent that. Oh, this guy's out of there. He did a spot. He's gone.
I'm not even talking yet.
But you sent the article over about the pods that were on the bottom of Flight 175 there. You want to talk about that a little bit, man?
Yeah, that was an original, there was an original documentary, one of the first ones I seen, 9/11 in Plain Sight, PLANE. And it was a guy who used to do a radio show called The Power Hour. Do you remember that guy? I forget his name. He did one of the first really in-depth things, but it really concentrated on there were supposedly missiles, pods under the plane, because there's no way that the plane, and this is pretty much a fact as well. There's no, you're laughing. What are you laughing?
No, I was just about to type because they were giving the big piss break thing in the Twitch chat room, and I was going to put GGPP, and Sal put it up right before I did.
There you go. But with this, the materials on the plane, the wings can't even hold fuel. The nose tip is carbon fiber, no different than any other lightweight thing that can't penny. And if you look at videos of the World Trade Center towers being built, it's like huge grids of concrete and steel, mostly steel on the beams. And to be able to penetrate like that, there's been different theories about bombs and stuff like that, no planes. But this was the first one that I've seen that really got me going down the rabbit hole 9/11. And I just see the flash of light that came underneath it. And a really pronounced flash of light.
Sure.
And that one video on the first one, the only video that is in existence of the first plane hitting, you see the same kind of thing before the plane hits, kind of something that flashes out from the bottom of the plane into the building before the plane penetrates. And it's just, that's where the pods come in. Also, there's people that say, it looked like it didn't look like a huge passenger airline. It looked like a commuter jet. There was no windows. There was no numbers. It was gray. All these different, eyewitnesses that said different things. Even an Air Force, I think he used to be a general. He was a high-ranking officer that said, he looked at the photos and he goes, "This looks just like this model of plane." And they showed the plane and it looks just like the bottom of the plane that they're talking about that hit the towers, the second one where they have all the different camera angles. I don't know if I missed anything, but
no, I've got it up right now. Flight 175 and showing the difference between the Boeing and that military version, and some people saying that the one that hit 175 didn't even have any windows. Which passenger plane have you been on with no windows? Once you look back at it,
I was there. There were windows
on the second one.
Yeah. Unless they painted it on to make it look like
It
windows.
very well could be. That's what
that
some
could very
people.
well be, but I can guarantee you, I saw windows.
We've seen the missile that was painted to look like a U.S. Airlines flight as well. That most people are thinking is what hit the Pentagon as well. And in that article you'd sent, it talked about the Social Security deceased information. I can't remember where the I was or list, and. It says usually it's about 83% accurate when you enter somebody's name in there. And it was actually going through all the passenger manifests, and they were as low as 13% to 22% for all four planes of people who were actually declared dead. And of the people who took the government payout of the hush money up to $1.8 million, only like 3 or 4 on each of the planes. And the one that hit the Pentagon, nobody had taken any of it. So, based on that, that opens the whole boatload of questions of, were planes landed and then people unpersoned after that, vaporized, or were they just given hush money to go someplace else? I tried to look up that Black Ops Radio interview, number 156. I think they're on like number 800 now, something. And I couldn't find it in an archive because I really wanted to listen to that lady tell her story. Let's see her name. I've got it right here.
Is this the one that was in the accounting office of the Pentagon with her child?
No, this is Ellen Mariani. She's a woman who lost her husband Lewis on Flight 175 that crashed in the South Tower. With the help of a lawyer named Phil Berg, she filed a lawsuit against President Bush and a company under the RICO Act. Also, she refused to take the hush money that was offered to her under the 9/11 Victims Compensation Fund. It says, in addition, I just discovered Black Op Radio earlier this year and found an interesting show in the archives, number 156, which Ellen and Mr. Berg appeared as guests. This may be the single biggest point concerning 9/11 and hopefully the last nail in the coffin of our government's lies. During this broadcast, Miss Mariani said that she was the only relative of all the passengers that died on Flight 175 that crashed in the South Tower. Her lawyer, Phil Berg, repeated the statement. She's the only one that sued. She's the only one that came out and didn't take the hush money. He said, I listened to the show over and over again. I couldn't believe what she had just said. Everything came together at this point. That's when it dawned on me that not only had our government lied about the physics of 9/11, they may very well have taken it one step farther by faking the number of people that died that day. I believe what she and Mr. Berg had just said. Nothing about 9/11 makes any sense. Why should it start now? So passenger manifest or the numbers on the plane that and those people that were or weren't on there, it just adds another dimension. And that takes me to the Sandy Hook. Now they're just now suing somebody. Who are they suing? Alex Jones and Wolfgang Halbig, who just actually had another piece of evidence. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, from the Dean's Dairy Company, right? That the school was closed 3 months before the Sandy Hook shooting, and that they had moved to a middle school that was closed and they were using it temporarily. And there's all types of billing and delivery that shows it was from the Sandy Hook school but sent to this other one, man. So, just things sticking out along those lines. I don't want to get too far off 9/11 because we can still talk about this, but just the follow the paper trail and who is and who isn't taking the hush money.
Well, let's not forget about the technology too that still technically doesn't exist, where you can use a cell phone at the altitude that they say these calls were being made. There's like a 0.0003, if not less, of a percentage or a chance that the calls even connect, much less stay to where they have these calls to be able to do that. And we have that technology existed back then. Remember the famous Colin Powell one, or there was the Ronald Reagan one even back in the 80s where my captors are treating me well. They've done this technology of being able to manipulate voices or even create voices that they can do that stuff. It's really very, very glaring. That Sandy Hook thing blew my mind because it's not like a day or a week or even a month. It's over 3 months
yeah.
that it's like, you know, you think about it, like I think we're going to get to the Cleveland thing where the plane landed.
Please go.
It's like, but I'm just saying, where do these people and these kids and these, like, what's going on? Like, did these people ever really exist? And if they did exist, where are they? What happened to them? Are they still? There's too many holes in the numbers and the identities of these people with Sandy Hook and also 9/11, especially 9/11, like crazy type of stuff, like where it's like, what happened to all these people? You know, the hijackers. It's a pretty common fact that at least half to 3/4 of the hijackers are still alive.
Yeah.
And flying over in Saudi, you know, one's a pilot in Saudi Arabia. I mean, I think he was at the Greatest Royal Rumble. I thought he was in the front row with a Cena sign.
Turning around. And it's supposed to be like 600 kids at Sandy Hook, right, in that school. And we saw, what, maybe 80? Like, there was no logistics of busing them and getting them out there. Like, it would be the simple stuff every day. And, you know, these are the things that are the trauma-based mind control for the Nancy Brown 85%. You know, that they're going to see that image and they're just going to have a reaction to it. And what you tell them in that point is going to be the set narrative. And unfortunately, that's what we're up against all the time. And then,
put it this way.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was going to say the set narrative, the whole thing. This whole thing with Trump and the camps, you know, they try to crucify him, saying he's the one who's separating families and separating illegal immigrants from the children from their families. Meanwhile, it was put into place from the Clinton administration, and he was just following the law. And then he comes around, signs an act that says that they're not going to separate people. And they give him shit about it because saying, oh, he's only doing that because it's mid-election and he wants the votes. So he's damned if he follows the law. He's damned if he does what the people want, and that's not separate people. Okay? Then on top of that, Time magazine prints a cover with him looking at some little girl crying. Then it comes out that it wasn't a girl who was separated. It was some girl that they photoshopped into the picture. And then all the pictures that were used on the news for the camps were from 2014 when Obama was in office, separating families.
Yeah.
So everything that the left media has been pumping out is a lie. Then they get caught, and they don't even sweep it under the rug. Oh, well.
Yeah, there's no backtrack.
No retraction, no nothing.
Nothing. I've never thought in my entire lifetime that when you get caught lying, especially if you're in the position of power where you are as mainstream media, putting on propaganda, that it's acceptable. But let's face it, Obama passed a law where propaganda could be legal because you can fight international propaganda with domestic propaganda, which is total bullshit. So,
yeah, their whole charter should be pulled right there. They should be pulled from the air based on that alone, man. That's almost a act of treason, wouldn't you say? At this point.
Yeah.
Oh, shit! Now I'm gonna draw a blank on this. Was it when the act of treason was like 1907 or something? It was created. I think against treason against the country. And I think between 1907, if somebody knows the actual date, because I'm not looking it up. If you know the actual date, let us know. But back in 1907 till the point of Obama, I think it was enacted a total of 3 times.
Yeah,
like
probably
treason against our country.
McCarthy era, McCarthyism against Hollywood and stuff. Yeah,
right. Even through that, 3 times.
Yep.
Treason is shit. Obama put 9 people under the treason law in his administration, one of which was a CIA agent.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember his name, and he fucking buried the guy. He was helping us out, but he wouldn't torture. He caught Sheikh, what's his name? Zakia? What was his name?
Zach Galifianakis.
Yes.
Khalid Sheikh Mohammed.
He caught the one dude, but he wouldn't partake in the torture of him. And he says, why torture him? The guy's going to give any minute now. And they said, well, we have a new list we got. And he turned around and he said, this is bullshit. I don't want to do it. So he got arrested because he was asked to come on to ABC News. Okay. And they said, is the United States torturing people? And he said, oh yeah, absolutely. And he got treason leveled against him lost everything, lost his job, lost all his credentials. The dude's still fucked to this day. Give me some time. I'll find out the guy's name.
Sure.
But all that just got thrown right under the fucking bus by Obama with he won, now it's treasonous. That's treason. The guy who served our country and then because he didn't play ball, that's treason.
Yeah.
But the shit they're doing now, it's not the same thing.
Well,
that's no different than the WikiLeaks and Assange and who else? Oh God, I forget his name. Edward Snowden or anybody. We skip over the fact that what they're saying is actually the truth or exposing the lies, but now they're the criminals because why would you expose something that we're hiding? Well, is it true? No, you're exposing something. That's not the point. You're exposing
Like
something we're hiding.
Yeah.
Pizzagate, the DNC, the Bernie stuff, all this stuff. No. We got hacked. Well, is it true? That's not the point. We got hacked. There he is.
Yeah, like what's her name? Like HRC coming out saying 17 different intelligence agencies proved that it was the Russians, and then she gets contradicted in that video that you sent that it was only 3 or 4 intelligence agencies. They're saying the Russians. But at the end of the day, even if the Russians did influence the public to vote for Trump, it doesn't matter because the Electoral College makes the decision who the president is. So unless they infiltrated the Electoral College and had double agents in the Electoral College, that's the only way it's going to affect the election. But they wasted billions of dollars trying to push a false narrative to try to, get Trump out of office and get him impeached for nonsense. And over a year's time, they haven't found anything.
Well, let's look at the greatest overall work of what you're saying, and shout out to the chat room because it was Zarqawi.
And the guy's name is he was a CIA whistleblower, John Kirikow.
Yeah,
look him up. He got fucked right.
Never even heard of him. That's the fucked up part.
Yeah,
nobody knows
him. His wife, he is still to this day, he is still under probation. He's not allowed to leave the country. They're a country he's banned from going to.
They took everything from him too.
Yeah, they took his job, his credentials. He cannot. They can check his shit whenever they want. They can come in and say, "We want to look at your bank account." They can look at it. He spent time in prison. They said they told him they were going to send him to a resort camp, and they wound up sending him to hard time. And he did his time. He wrote a book while he was in there. And he was just like, fuck him. He wouldn't sell for him. So this guy Kirikow, but he was out there. He had Zakawi, and he was interrogating him. And they came up with a new set of rules. They threw it by him. They're like, hey, we want to do this. He's like, wait, that sounds like torture. And then he told them go fuck themselves, and then he got fucked. And he's labeled a treasonist. He's labeled, he went to jail for treason.
Traitor.
Speaking of getting fucked in the ass, you see that bruise on Finn Balor's ass? Holy shit, he must have gone in and asked for a raise there. I couldn't believe he posted on social media.
But, or he might have got one.
Or else he got, all these great points that we're touching on here are, as worker, what we should do and take a step back.
What a segue. Talking about his asshole and all these great points we touch on.
To look at it overarching what they're doing and why CNN isn't being, Finn Balor raised themselves as they should be, is that it's just a push away tactic from Stormy Daniels, from Russiagate, from Pissgate, to he's separating kids, it's Nazis. It's just so we don't get to that Hillary Clinton, now's the time to start the trials to do this. And look at how much that's in the news, all that other shit I just mentioned. And then we have to hunt and find for 2,300 child molesters and a pedophile ring that were all arrested in the last couple months as well. Like the stories that should be, and that those people are probably 1 degree of separation away from many Clinton Foundation, and as the dominoes crumble that way. So I feel like all of these salacious things, not to put up a big fight for old Twitter thumbs and some of the dumb shit he says, but as a worker, as we keep looking at it, it's just more and more misdirection spots because they get proven as lies every time. And like you said, GGP, they don't fucking sell for it of like, oh yeah, we lied and now we got to pay the piper for it. It's just, what's the next thing we can throw out there? What's the next hurdle for them to jump,
Absolutely. Put it this way. If an officer, a police officer, did something that was against the law, plant evidence, gets caught, harassment, physical abuse against, and we know cops do that. There's some bad cops out there. I love cops, and I believe cops should be held as heroes in regards, but regardless of the fact, you had a crooked cop that did something wrong, gets caught, he loses his job.
Sure.
And then in all this liberal media, they do wrong things all the time and get caught, yet nothing happens.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know what? We still have the stupid freaking laptop from what's his name from what's his name Wiener. And where's his wife? Where'd she go to? You know, she just disappeared like a fart in the wind. Where's she at?
And I believe they're tied into all this shit, whether it's Stormy Daniels or what Russiagate, whatever. That's them saying, fuck, we got to keep throwing this shit at them for 8 years, because if they don't, we are fucked. I mean, we saw that Hillary footage where she pretty much said that, and I believe that they believe that in their heart of hearts. And can the battle keep going? Because they got to run out of bullshit work sooner or later. You know what I mean? Of what it could be. And now their whole plan is just overrun the borders to, like, they're creating a problem, creating the divisiveness more and more. And what was the thing I saw today? Hot summer for protesters who want to cause violence. So guess what? I believe by next month you're going to see maybe not a Black Lives Matter cause, but it'll be based around what this is now with ICE and all that kind of shit and deportations. But you're going to have cities burning, and that will, again, be another arm length push away for them where they can stay out of the fire themselves. And that's all they're trying to do with all this shit.
Hopefully they'll burn down a few of Maxine Waters' house, because she's the one that's stirring all this shit up.
Yep.
And this is where, how in the world does, that's the one thing that might happen too. They're poking the bear and poking the bear and poking the bear. There's going to come that time when somebody turns around and says, this fucking lady's making $100,000 a year and has 7, like $5 to $10 million houses. What?
Yep.
Wait a minute. And one of the poorest districts in California, and she hasn't stepped foot to even live in there in how many years?
And at that time, she'll take off her wig, fake a stroke, and be in a wheelchair so she can't be fucking brought up on charges and shit. Like, oh, she can't defend herself. Like, that's
She's
exactly.
Not gonna wear a Macho Man hat anymore.
No, that's because she's on high right now. She's on the Intercontinental push now.
But she's really an example. She's an example, and a lot of other politicians. You could throw. That's why Trump won, because he is no more flawed than these people. As a matter of fact, he's probably a little less flawed, because at least he has some real world, real company, real economic experience. He's not a genius,
right?
But you see what I'm saying? These people, that's when he's introducing the term limits, which I don't know if it's a work or not, but they'll fucking kill that motherfucker if that's true.
Yeah.
Term limits for Congress and Senate, they ain't gonna let that happen.
See ya. Just to get back quick on one other thing, Paul Arzola, who's a big supporter of everything we do in Hameen Media Group, shout out to you, buddy. He says, okay, so here's a question. The $2 trillion that went missing before 9/11, what was it supposed to be used for?
No one knows.
Yeah.
2.3
trillion.
2.3 trillion gone. Not to mention also trillions, I think $9 trillion that's unaudited, unaccounted for by the Federal Reserve as well. They can't find. So that's $11.3 million.
I saw something.
Sorry.
Wasn't there like a $31 trillion as well just a couple months ago? Like I saw that story get slid through. A $31 trillion unaccounted for right now.
There was that.
Maybe it's going to the secret
Space Force. That's what I was thinking too, man.
Well, here's my question about that. Why did Rumsfeld do it the day before 9/11? Why would, he could have never said anything and it would have never been known. Just like we'd only know if it's 11 or 31 trillion. Dude, it's all just monopoly money anyway. It has no real value, this paper money. The World Trade Center 7, when Enron and all these different SEC investigations, that was supposedly trillions of dollars as well. Back
why
then.
He did it? I'll tell you why he did it. Alibi. Because he made money off of allegedly from the whole scenario. Him, Cheney, Bush, and all the rest of the corporate thugs over there, the banksters, they all made money off of 9/11 in the aftermath.
Oh,
so
yeah. War profiteers, sure.
And say, well, yeah, the war profiteers, and they can all come out. He can come out and say, well, I was trying to find out where the money went, so don't group me with these individuals. He was just hedging his bets because he was playing both sides of the fence, trying to play devil's advocate. That's what I think why he brought it up. Because Stevie's right. Why even shine light on it? especially if it's going to go down the next
Yeah, you
day.
could have done it afterwards and been like, we lost the paper trail of 2.3 trillion because of that. To do it the day before, to me, makes them, even though they worked it pretty well, that's the shitty part of the work. You know, when we come back from a match and we're like, oh, that was good, I liked it, we could have done this one or two things differently. I feel like that's one of those things where like, fuck, we should have just kayfabed the 2.3 trillion and done it afterwards. But in their mind,
I slightly disagree with you there.
Okay.
You know why? If they said it the day after and it was like, oh, by the way, the plane struck the exact part that was tracking that money.
Okay. All right. All right.
That's the other end of it.
I like that spot. You know, but
why bring it up at all? If they kept the kayfabe, no one would know. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe don't the Masons and people like that in the elite, don't they do that hide in plain sight type stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like they're giving us all the
Well, that's what we talked about last week with fucking Georgia Guidestones. Absolutely.
Or that way they, you know, he can come out and say, well, I told you guys it's missing. I didn't know where it went. So now not only is he clean, because now he said, I was just as confused as you guys were. I didn't know where the money was either. That's why I came out and reported it.
I was so confused. All these millions of dollars that came into my bank account.
I had did so much coke. My head was spinning that day. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah,
there were so many 14-year-old kids sitting on my face. I don't know which way was up.
It's Big Sal. I think we covered all three of our things. Is there anything you wanted to cover before we started moving on to the gender neutral messaging system?
No, I was looking forward to the mailbag.
All right. Big Sal just bringing his sexuality, looking like superstar Sally Graham tonight. Glad to see this look. I always pop to see what Sal's next look is going to be. All right. This one came actually to my Hacker Hameen email, but I forwarded it to here, to the Conspiracy Horsemen at gmail.com, gender neutral messaging system. It says, hey, Conspiracy Horsemen. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate that you're out there spreading truth. I'm a longtime fan of wrestling and conspiracy, so your show is something I look forward to every week. Well, thank you. Just wanted to point out a guy named RASBEN, RASBEN. Don't know if you've heard of him. He's got some amazing theories on the cause of the Mandela effect and occult history of Philadelphia. Got to get him on the show. Keep it up, guys. RASBEN, that's from our buddy Gus. So, yeah, I haven't really heard of him. Have you guys heard of RASBEN before or no?
No, I'd love to hear.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear what his explanations of the Mandela effect is.
Yeah, we'll definitely take a look into that. Appreciate it, Gus. And you know, if the stars align, we'll try and get him on, because Mandela effect is always going to be one of our favorites. And there's been a couple different things with that. Did you guys see the story about you know, they're now putting it on wealthy people who are actually time traveling to the future and doing the butterfly effect, and that's what's actually causing it? I'm not sure if anybody else saw that story or not.
I did.
You know who I think posted that just so they can cover their ass? Sir.
Wait. Hang on. Rewind. Do it again, because you were all roboted up. So do it again. So maybe it'll be funnier this time. Go ahead. Start from the beginning.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it there, Spielberg. Thanks for directing. I said, you know who I think posted that information out into the public?
Who, Papa Don?
Sir.
If it ain't about money, homie, I ain't concerned. You know that. And then, Sal, there was some new CERN news. What was the thing you guys were putting over earlier in the week?
They were posting that they were working on some new servers because they were having some issues with getting the computer to work as hard as they wanted it to.
So the D-Wave Jordy Nelson.
They have to upgrade. Is what I read.
Jesus Christ!
They had to upgrade the system because this server was full of people's souls.
Yeah, like if you have the most powerful quantum computers and you're like, this shit just ain't powerful enough, where the fuck are you going next, man?
That's okay. Come on, Stevie, I'm looking at you for this.
I'm listening.
All right. So think about, like, the computer that they have isn't strong enough. How do you not want it to go better? Like, come on, you have to, as a tech guy, there's a part of you that's like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Don't lie. Don't lie.
No, I'm trying to wrap my head around the the entry level, like the Mac Mini of quantum computing.
Yes,
which,
exactly.
No. I'm saying quantum computing at the whatever the most basic bare bones level is computing ding 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 ding
Holy shit.
ding ding
What the
ding
hell?
ding 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 ding.
I don't know what the fuck is going on right here.
Ding 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 ding.
Oh shit! There it is.
Ding.
I don't know. I don't know, but that was awesome. We're gonna get so much mileage out of that. Holy shit.
Skype, the new Skype just wigged out on me and
Dude,
switched.
could you hear yourself or no?
No, not for a second.
It
Why?
went bing, 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 bing.
That was great.
Stevie is straight out of Westworld is what the fuck is going on right here. They got to him. Our clone show is real.
And I'm getting a lot of hearts here on Skype for some reason. No, I just can't. What is it to like the ninth power of whatever this quantum computing is that goes, it actually tears the fabric of time. It tears the veil.
Yeah.
It lifts the veil.
Into other dimensions.
So how the fuck do you upgrade that? How do you?
Now, no, here's my question. How do you upgrade it? Who upgrades it, and how do you get certified to be the tech? Is that what you want to know?
That's what I want to know. Like, I want to know that between that and the fact, like, okay, you take the Millennium Falcon, right? And they said, we're going to make it faster. Are you going to be like, no, that's dangerous? You're going to be like, fuck yeah, make it faster.
No, but the Millennium Falcon doesn't go to another
faster.
reality.
It did the Kessel round in 12 parsecs. Come on now.
Right.
Doesn't
Well,
go any faster.
that girl gave the accurate happenings in the Star Trek movies. That girl in the Facebook messages.
Finn Balor just got a hole torn in him in his reality. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Why don't you email them, Sal? In all seriousness,
I did email them, and they have. I'm still waiting for their response.
I swear, if you get CERN on here, that would be. I don't even know.
I asked them to speak to a press representative, so we can ask a couple questions.
Oh, by the way, you have to back up and tell everybody about your call to JFK.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. That's what Sal brings to this show, man, for sure. Because we were sharing that last night of a JetBlue flight where it was grounded in like surrounded by I don't even know what 20, 30 emergency vehicles, lights flashing. Go ahead, Sal. Basically,
it was the opening of the strain. There was a JetBlue plane that landed. Papa Don was the one who showed us the video, the Fox News, and it was one channel covered it. Fox 23 in fucking Oklahoma, they were the ones who covered it, and it was that there was no radio contact from the crew inside this JetBlue plane, and they were at JFK Airport, and they had friggin' lights everywhere, and the whole place. They had SWAT. They had everybody down there, so. Couldn't find it anywhere online. We were looking up. I looked at on every major thing. Couldn't find it anywhere. So I called JFK, and I was sitting on the phone like we were watching. You guys had SmackDown. We were just bullshit online, and I called JFK and sat there for like 7 minutes listening to this horse shit about please wait, our representatives. So the guy calls up and I said, "This is Agent Brown. I'm looking for one of my agents on
Agent Nancy Brown
on the tarmac." And the guy, who sounds like he's been asked this about 100 times already, goes, "There's no plane on the tarmac for JetBlue, sir." And he hangs up the phone before I get 2 words out. And I was like, wait, what? So now I couldn't find anything else the rest of the night, and I just called it a night. This morning, there's something on that says JetBlue. There was a radio screw up, and that's why the crew couldn't call out. And that's why, and then somebody panicked, and then it was a non-event that became an event, but was still a non-event, and that's how they were playing it.
Does that feel like a work to you, though, man? Like them hanging up, where maybe they were told to keep radio silence.
So pissed, and like he's customer service for JFK Airport.
Yeah.
And he's like, he goes, "There's no plane on the tarmac from JetBlue, sir." And then before I was like, and it gone off, it was done. So. Like they blew it off. They said nothing happened. There was no plane out there. Meanwhile, there very much was a plane out there. With obviously,
should have been like, "Yo, I'm calling from inside the plane. What the hell's going on?"
To me, that almost feels. I mean, it could be either or. It could be all right. Code Blue. deny everything and instantly say this, when they start doing it, and we're going to keep this bigger conspiracy under wraps that way. Or it could have been as simple as radios were fucked up and they just went into crisis mode depending on what they need to do.
I felt like agent saying the word agent would have got me through a little quicker.
Agent Nancy Brown
Smart.
on the scene.
So I'm looking for my other agent on board, and they no.
What's his name? Smith. Agent Smith.
Agent Anderson.
That's even better. Agent Anderson. Two things. One, where was the plane going? And two, who was on the plane?
It's like the Bahamas. Like I said, that was the.
Did they take anyone off the plane that we don't know about, just like some of these other flights?
Yeah, there's no word, there's no follow up on it, which is the weird part of it.
It was a non-event. That's all I keep
Wasn't
saying.
it?
It's one of those child sex trafficking things where
Could be.
they were trying to leave the country.
Could be a lot of things like the Stooge report from the airline stewardess saying how there was 16 kids, dressed in kind of like Walmart gray sweatpants and sweatshirts that were being transported, and that CIA and all those guys are flying people now all over just to take illegals and put them in different states. That was a bigger story this week too.
Yeah, what were they saying? They were hiring people from like Career Builder and fucking Indeed to take kids on cross country flights, and the first thing they do is like we said earlier, Papa Don called it out, that they said, the first thing they lead off with in big bold letters was the Trump administration funds, and they go through all this, and then they say they get from a representative of the government saying this is completely safe, and we've been doing this since 2014. Again, back to before Trump was even president, they've been doing this, because this is just, they take kids and they move them to a different location, out of state, out of doing whatever, and they hire people on like through non-government agencies. They just use like Indeed, and they use like online references to get people, and then fly with these kids like in mass.
Yep.
It'll be so like one person will bring 5 or 6 kids with them, and just sit with them, make sure they go to the bathroom, make sure they're fed, make sure they're cool, and then you get off the plane, you go collect your money.
Yep.
Then you feed them to the lizard people.
Yep. Throw them down a well.
Yep. They're smart.
Yeah. Shout out to the twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman chat room. Brent Logan just joined us. He was upset earlier when I put the announcement out that the time change, he couldn't tune in live, so because of his job, so I told him to quit. So he says, "Okay, Ben, I quit my job. I'm watching now." So that's the dedication we're looking for out here. There was another good one up here. It said from KM Jogden, "Yo Ben, praise you Allah." So you guys doing, and we'll talk about how liberals want a civil war now. I just saw that on Drudge Report.
Is this Israel?
That 44% of American liberals would support a civil war.
Let me just say something here, man. Both sides of the fence, both right and left, conservative and liberals, the extremists, they're both crazy, fucking batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Because anyone who believes in ideals so strongly to the point where you're going to lie and commit acts of violence, you're wrong. And that's just wrong. Okay? You need to have an open mind, and you need to be level-headed, because guess what? Things aren't always black and white, especially nowadays, but especially the left. And maybe because I lean more towards the right, I can say this, and this is my perspective on the matter, but especially the left. If they don't get their ways, they all throw a freaking hissy fit like a little kid, like a little brat, and they scream and they whine and they throw tantrums, and then they just burst out in a gust of violence, or they support people to get violent in order to conform people to think the way they think. Because if we don't, then we get labeled as sexist or racist, feminist, or you have no sympathy. You're a
Nazi.
Yeah. You're a Nazi, which is ridiculous. I was just thinking about this today. Just like all these people who hated the last Star Wars film, Episode 8, because they didn't live up to their fan theories, and then they started to basically throw a fit online. That's exactly what's going on in the world today. And it's a damn shame, because guess what? You put 10 people in a room, you're never going to please all 10 all the time. So you're going to have some people who like things and hate things. Same thing with this world. You can't please everybody. You're either going to please a majority of some and gets the other people to hate you, or you're going to please the other half, and the ones that you pleased before are going to hate you for what you did. So that's the way the world works. Unfortunately, though, the liberals, they have the media. And when they have the media and they have the power of the pen and they're in everyone's ear, then their narrative gets pushed a lot harder. It's a damn shame. Go ahead.
Can I offer up, this is a geek anecdote, but it's very pertinent to what you just said, what we're talking about. I have a fella who has done podcasts for years. The guy is he's done a bunch of stuff in the gaming industry. And
Quiz?
Who?
Quiz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it is a thing of in the world of gaming. There's a lot of celebrity D&D players, all this kind of shit going on now, where it's all these pretty people are playing the game, and it's really cool. Now it's a cool thing to do, and it's like counterculture, but it's still cool to do. And 5th edition came out and made it acceptable for everybody to play this game. Yada yada yada. So in this time on Twitter, this guy who I'm not gonna call his name out because he might not want this known, but fuck it. So he comes out and he says to one of the D&D gods, one of the guys who wrote 5th edition, he brings up something, and basically it was a thinly veiled knock on Trump about if we made a game where kids were stolen from their parents and moved here and there and that. And the guy says, seriously, dude, don't put politics into games. He's like, leave that out. This dude got turned on so fast because not only did he not agree, people actually turned on him and told him, go fuck yourself, number one. How would you like us to come take your kids? Like, they just turned the fuck on him. And he never said what affiliation he has. He never said I'm for or against. He just said, don't bring politics into gaming. Not within 2 hours, he was banned from Twitter and didn't say a word back. He never said a fucking word aside from do not bring politics into gaming.
Hey, man, it's the same exact thing with James Wood, right? He goes up there and he says whatever he says, and he gets banished for he gets crucified for what he says. Whether he's right or
Twitter
wrong,
jail.
It doesn't matter. But then you have the senator come out and says, hey, Trump, I'm going to put your kid in a cage with a pedophile, and no one says anything. You have these cunts on the views, going up against Trump and everybody else. And I'm not a Trump supporter, but let's face facts. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You can't have your way and not for you can't just do one thing's one way and not get penalized. Okay. Point being is they come over here and they shit on everybody, but yet they go support what's his name? The director who banged the 13-year-old chick.
Polanski.
Yeah. And they show support for him. Same thing with Meryl Streep. And then, not for nothing, what's his name? Robert De Niro. Great actor. I love the guy. Okay? Comes out, starts screaming F Trump, F Trump, F this, F that, F Trump in the middle of the woods. What if James Wood did that when Obama was up and he said F Obama? He would have been blackballed.
Yeah.
Blackballed. But whatever the liberals people do, it's okay because they all are a bunch of brats together, and all 10 of them, they make a louder roar than one person. But if one person on the right says something, forget about it. It's ridiculous.
But it all comes down to like this small grace period because you just let them shoot their mouths off and they hang themselves with it, man. It always comes back 2 or 3 days later with a decent propaganda piece that shows them to be the fucking whack jobs that they are and just trying to incite stuff. So they just won't learn, man. They're a bunch of bruise touchers. They're going to go, "Ow, why does this hurt?" And when I keep touching this bruise, they have no real worker skill, even though that guy is Americana and should be trying to unite people. The inflammatory shit just sends them all down the shitter even quick. Chat room wants to know how your match with Sam Shaw went.
It went well. Actually turned into a 3-way dance. It was Sam, myself, and MVP.
Nice.
Unfortunately, shout out to my boy Mike Orlando who got hurt, and he wasn't able to make the show to wrestle MVP, so it ended up being a good 3-way dance.
Cool, man. Good for you. From Jay Bakalal, I'm not sure. Yella Horseman, long-time listener, first-time emailer. Can't thank you guys enough for fully awakening me. For many years, I suspect all was not right with the world, but I would just put my head down and be a Jim Smith. Thank you for giving me inspiration and courage to face the truth about what really goes on planet Earth. Well, you're welcome, and thank you for having the awareness to admit that and moving forward in your journey, man. That's awesome. Love the weekly WWE reviews. Way more entertaining to hear you guys paint the picture than to actually watch the show. Well, that's not fucking fair. You should have to watch like us. I know the product is maddening, so I appreciate the dedication to the review very much. Master Shoot Theater is so money. As for my question, I was wondering, what are some of your favorite wonders of the world, and what are the mysteries, conspiracies to go along with them? Mine is Stonehenge, something we haven't touched on yet. So many fascinating theories on Stonehenge, but I choose to believe Big Sal Allah's ancestors dragged those gimmicks around and left them there. P.S. Why hasn't Stevie called up his buddy Paul and gotten GGP a job at WWE? Someone needs to show the majority of that roster how to work, and GGP is the right man for the job because Greeks invented wrestling. PPS, love the podcast.
I like this guy.
Keep spreading truth and knowledge and wisdom. Ride with the Horsemen or die. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. That's a very kind email, man.
What's his name? Jay Bacala?
Jay Papadon?
Yeah, man. When it comes to what we are most interested in, I think, to me, it's either got to be one of three things: Mandela effect, which relates to CERN, or what the fuck's going on with Antarctica. I mean, those are viable things that we could really look into.
Is that considered a wonder of the world, Antarctica? Is Antarctica considered a wonder of the world? Is that one of the seven wonders?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it's one of them. But to me, yeah, I guess. The Sphinx and all that. There's been talk of all that is that really a vault, in that it actually can open, almost Transformer-esque. But I think I'm just going off this question here. But to me, those are the two that I think we have the most potential to really look into something and find it. And then I've been on the Giants craze a lot. So if you want to talk about the ninth wonder of the world, Giants and Andre, that's been pushing me.
No, he was the eighth.
Eighth wonder. China was the ninth. Sorry. Has been pushing me that way as we are doing research for our own show. What are you guys thinking? Wonders of the world.
For me, it's the pyramids.
Yeah.
I am infatuated with the pyramids. I think not only the stones in Egypt, the stones all over the world. The fact that there's so many different civilizations from back in the day that have very similar architectural structures, and so many stories that coincided with one another, but yet they were so far apart as far as distance goes. It just amazes me. I mean, and just the pyramids in Egypt alone, that itself is a wonder, because all these years being in school and being a Nancy Brown or a Jim Smith, they're telling you it's tombs, and now it's coming out obviously for some time now that it wasn't tombs, and that if there were tombs, there was no bodies found, and then they used electricity because they couldn't see in there, because if they used torches, there'd be soot all over the place, and there were no soot that was found inside the pyramid. So the more that comes out, the more it makes you scratch your head and go, wait a minute, what the hell was who? You know what I'm saying?
And then we're seeing stories of ancestors possibly pre-pyramid in the fucking Grand Canyon, as we've been sharing around, man. So just unbelievable story keeps unraveling. And it wasn't last year where they showed how they dug not ditches, but canals to bring stones down via boats, and now they're finding boats around there that just got ditched, and that's how they brought down the huge stones themselves.
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, even just I don't believe anything that we're told anymore, especially from an archaeological point of view, because soon we're finding out more, and it started with giants, as far as I'm concerned. For me, that every little bit that's regarding the Smithsonian, they're basically just like the liberal media. They're trying to push their own Darwinism narrative, and they're burying anything that counteracts it or contradicts it, so they can come out smelling like roses as opposed to smelling like the pieces of shits that they are. And it started with giants, but now also with dinosaurs. Dinosaurs not being what we were told that they were, because it brought to light that there's never been a single full skeletal dinosaur ever found at all. So that makes you wonder, go, wait a minute, how's that possible? What's that? What we seen in the museums. Well, those stuff that we see in the museums ain't even real dinosaur bones. It's only cast with plaster of Paris and some other dust that comes from other bones. And the actual skulls of dinosaurs were made up by artists. And these all can be traced back to Eric Dubé and his research on YouTube. Give it a look. It blew my mind. But, it just goes to show me that whenever there's a certain narrative to be pushed by a certain individual, greed always comes into play.
There's the face. There he goes. Yeah. I'm waiting for Sal to start selling this.
Sally,
I'm listening. I'm listening.
I'm just saying that's just starting to get me into this now. Because,
sure, man.
You know what? Everything that we're learning in school is just bullshit. It is.
Yeah, it's all operant conditioning out of the same book from teachers who are uninspired, who are just comfortable in their spots. What do you think, Stevie?
I'm going to pop it on just questioning just about everything, as silly as the visceral response would be of you hear, well, dinosaurs have been proven. Well, let's look really deep into that and where it's coming from. If it's proven, that's fine. We've already had so many questions about, and we talked about it last week, about really where this, quote, fossil fuel is coming from. That is it really from all these dinosaurs that died, and it's the oil sediment from their bones or their remains. It's not really proven that's what it is. That was just kind of a guess to create the scarcity and, the demand for this stuff so someone could price it. Am I off base with that?
No, not at all. And I wanted to just give a quick shout out. We got, I believe Billy Ray Valentine from the Infinite Fringe is in the chat room as well. If you guys aren't checking out the Infinite Fringe, definitely one of our great brother shows here on hackerhameen.podbean.com, as well as Crow 777. Just great stuff all the way around. Stevie, I think, I don't know.
Stevie's gone. Papa Don's gone.
Everybody. It's just you and I, Sal. The important kids are here.
That's right. Go ahead. You know what? Fucking dinosaurs are totally real. God's a douche. Anybody say it? Any different? Anybody? No? Guess not. Guess that's a show, guys. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I digress. Yeah, man. I saw the new Jurassic Park. It was pretty fucking good. Moving on from our man, Call Me Sensei here. What up, Horseman? Call Me Sensei here. I decided to send another email because a listener kind of asked the question I had for you last week. First, allow me to put you over. It's been a while since my awakening as a truth seeker, and you guys are great. There are a ton of conspiracy podcasts out there, but you guys hold the title. Other shows just preach or talk down to you like you already know the verbiage and events that took place. But you guys, what I like about you guys is that you all seem down to earth, and are even better, you don't all agree on every subject, as you just heard. Yes, Star Wars.
Son of a bitch, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you. Bing, 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 bing.
This new Skype is the worst. It's just, it's got this material design on it. They tried to simplify everything, and it's fucking everything up. I'm going to try to turn on and off there.
There you go.
Dude, it literally is shutting off and on all my settings. It's crazy how bad it is.
That sucks.
I got to go back to the old version. Go ahead.
Just from our boy, Call Me Sensei, putting us over real quick, and that we hold the conspiracy title even because we don't agree always on things, and we're down to earth and we don't talk down to people. And he says, yes, Star Wars is better, LOL. The tough part about being awakened is that there's not many people to talk to. Those who are blind to the facts that just don't see the obvious. And just when I start to go, maybe I'm crazy, it's Friday, and you guys are here to remind me I'm not alone in this journey. Thanks for that. Okay, back to no selling. Inserts pee break for the bookie monster, which he's actually on a piss break right now.
Actually, I wasn't.
Oh, no? Oh, he's back. I wasn't reading. All right, so recently my girlfriend was explaining to me this kind of engagement ring she didn't want. She opened up her Mac and showed me tons of cluster rings saying, don't get one of those, then cut a promo about why she didn't like cluster rings after image of different variations. Then she flat out said she wanted a white gold or platinum band, 1 carat, 3-pronged ring. I take a mental note. Then turn on the TV to the Fire Stick input to watch a movie because no one buys movies anymore. Illegal streaming over strong. Exodus hasn't been, he put all that in there. Phenomenal. Exodus hasn't been playing recently, so I tried this new app called FreeFlix to try and watch Infinity War again. You can also, this is me, get it at afdah.tv or TO. Soon as I tried the app and searched for the movie, guess what popped up? An ad. but not just any ad, an ad for a 3-pronged platinum band 1-carat diamond fucking ring. Not the type of ring that she just used our Wi-Fi to search for tons of images for. This was the one my girlfriend that she verbally said she wanted. I just shook my head and said, they're listening to us. I'm glad it happened because I'm constantly trying to open my girlfriend's eyes to the truth and seeking, and even she couldn't deny that one. I told that story to Stevie because I know it happens to him a lot more often than usual if he thinks that happens because of the things he researches and the topics you guys bring up on the show. If I was the government and I heard you all talking about shit I wanted to cover up, I'd listen to you more too. Good thing Stevie has a green screen to protect his location, even if he's secretly in streaming from Vince's office in Connecticut. I guess I'm doing my best Hans impression tonight because I've written 2 more quick points. I feel I'm at the point where I think everything is a work. Okay, so 1, this Trump administration is reportedly separating illegal immigrants from their children, and supposedly there are around 1,500 children without parents in a Walmart. They turned into a facility on the border. 1,500 children? I immediately thought of all the practices in child trafficking that could come from that. I hope I'm wrong. And 2, today Trump announced Space Force, another branch of the military. Aside from how cool that sounds, all I could think of is basically admitting to aliens, right? Or is this just another excuse to funnel unaccounted money to secret government through NASA, nerds awkwardly screwing Americans, NASA? Your thoughts? Thanks, call me Sensei. Great email, and I think we covered most of what your questions are with that, with the child trafficking, and this is last week's email, so apologize, we're a little bit behind. But Stevie, I'm very interested because you have been sending stuff in chat of, it seems like every other day, man, you're getting whaled by this target marketing of your smart devices listening to you.
Yeah, there was something, I forget what the last thing I sent was, but we had not even searched for it. And then my wife had brought it up to me, talking about something I should get or something we should look into for me. So it wasn't even my search. It was directed at me, and it came up on my phone. And that's the screenshot I sent you on Instagram like 2 minutes after we had the conversation. I checked Instagram, and it came up. I don't know. That's not a coincidence. There's no way. You can't get around it because anytime the last upgrade to Instagram, you couldn't even use Instagram to post pictures without allowing microphone access.
Yeah.
So like if you just wanted to post pictures, not even, pictures and videos, you don't need to have the microphone open to do like what's in your photo album or your video album.
And you don't even have Alexa or Google Home or anything. These are just
I don't have any kind of smart home products that listen. I don't even really use Siri because it's useless. I think it's useless on purpose because it's listening every other time that you're doing, rather than when you want to ask a particular question. No, we don't have Google Home, Alexa, nothing. We do have the Amazon Fire TVs, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The remote has a microphone on it. So once again, is that listening to everything that you're doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are being listened to right now. Hey, you know who's listening to us? Sir.
And 42 people in the twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman chat room. We appreciate you guys coming in and strong, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to it tonight, so we appreciate you on this potpourri evening.
Yeah, Justin French, by the way, that sent me a DM. We get a lot of messages from people that go through the same stuff.
Yeah.
He was talking to his girlfriend or wife about a welding thing, and he got a picture that came up like a few minutes after that about welding.
Yep, and I think we shared that litmus test of the guy to show that it works, where he was talking about dog food or dog toys, but he did the first thing where he went to like 8 websites, didn't talk about it, then he shut all his computer down, restarted, talked about, I'd like to find my dog an affordable dog treat or dog toy, went back to those same 8 sites, and now 5 out of 8 of them all had some type of dog toy or dog related, advertising in there.
One thing my wife laughs about is when I get targeted, I say it out loud. I go, "Oh, target me, I'll target you," and I send them the email, and I get free shit.
Strong.
Okay, get something out of being
right.
being a slave or a serf or whatever it is.
From our man JW, he says, what are our thoughts of the Joyner Lucas song, I'm Not Racist, compared to Childish Gambino's This Is America? I've not heard the first one, I got to be honest. It says, P.S. I remember a news reporter interviewing Barack Obama basically asking, what would you say to Donald Trump before he entered the White House? And his response was like, he said it in a very interesting but also concerning way. He said, quote, there are a set of rules set in place, and it's best that they don't get eroded. Interesting that
Well,
way.
you can tell when they met, and they had that first official meeting after Trump won the election.
Yep.
He was so uncomfortable. If you saw his body language in that instance where they're both sitting there in the White House, he was so uncomfortable, and it looked like he got handled by the Illuminati, saying, if you don't do as we're going to tell you, you and your family are going to get 86th big time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He realized that shit, I'm way in over my head. So could very well be.
They told me that, but they said you and your family are going to get 69 big time. So I was like, fucking bring it on, dude. Sally, what are you thinking, man? You're into the – I haven't heard this I'm a racist or whatever song yet, but the Childish Gambino.
I haven't heard either. You were saying the words, and I'm going, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, the Childish Gambino, obviously we talked about that, and just feeling like such a propaganda piece, getting 50 million views overnight on YouTube, like near impossibility, man. So if the other one is a comparative thing, I might say that it's part of a greater propaganda scheme.
Isn't that the song where they had one black guy, one white guy rapping with each other, but they were rapping almost like against each other in the video?
I haven't seen
it. Then it turns around. It's a switch off, and it turns out they're not shitting on the other. It's just, hey, by the way, yeah. I actually have heard that. It
could be that. I don't know.
If that's the one you're talking about, I have heard that. It's interesting, but otherwise, I had no idea what you're talking about. And also, just because Ben overlooked it and everybody hates me, apparently, my favorite is the actual statue of Zeus.
Oh, sorry. That's a good one, too, for sure, man. One of the 8
wonders. It's actually one of the, to me, that would be just seeing something of that level, that size, it's amazing. I think that's tremendous.
Do you feel?
I'll show you Zeus on the 30th in the locker room there, brother. Don't worry.
By who you bringing?
Tiny Lister. Stevie, what's your favorite wonder of the world?
I'd probably say the one we don't know anything about, Antarctica. That's why I think it's the most important one. You have Egypt. You have a ton of stuff you could say about that, but at least you can go there.
Yeah.
You can't. Why are you shaking your head, Sal?
I'm just saying it's not a wonder of the world, but okay, that's fine.
Well, to me, to a conspiracy theorist, I think that's the number one.
Sure. And I would also, I think
I could have triggered you further and said, I want to see the edge. Let's go to the edge.
Don't you know him? Call him.
Yeah, man.
God, no. It's his job with the wrestling puns. Yes, I do know him, by the way. And I'm not going to call him for you, Papa.
You know the guy.
You don't have to call for me. Thank you.
Oh, because he doesn't have any power to get you a job.
No, he has plenty of power.
I was talking about the guy from YouTube, but that's okay.
Oh, well, he's involved with CERN and the elite.
For Adam, Mr. Copeland. Go ahead, do that.
Outside of that, man, I don't know.
What do you think about that last statement about Obama saying that to him about don't fuck with the system or you're going to get fucked yourself?
That was a shot across the bow. That was a friendly, not so friendly warning of, they talked to me 8 years ago.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
Well, they did it to Jesse Ventura. There's a famous story when he won governor of Minnesota, and it's on YouTube. You can watch it up there. And all the CIA sat, and all these people look like moms and pops and sisters, fathers, daughters, mothers, whatever, sons. They look like regular people, and they were all in the CIA. And he had asked the one question. He goes, well, I'm just wondering, he goes, why are you operating within the borders of the United States? It's in your manifesto. You're not supposed to do this. They didn't answer. But, that's the thing. I mean, why is the CIA sitting down with Trump, and then Trump looks like he was verbally beat down by the CIA?
Right.
Maybe they told him everything that was going on. And he was just like, wow, shit, I wish I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like everything, the Planet X maybe.
He was selling it like the way Neil Armstrong and the astronauts were selling going to the moon and that press conference.
Nobody sells that bad. That was the worst, man.
Actually, you've never seen a Chris Heavy match. Yeah. I've seen some bad selling before.
All right. From the one and only Hans. A glorious greeting, horsemen. I'll keep this short like our 5'4" and 3/4 boy. I was thinking about your cloning discussion. I was thinking about your cloning discussion listening to you guys and The Godfather, Uncle Vinny. Why clone celebs? Why clone B-list celebs? Stages, bro. Practice on worthless celebs. Perfect the craft on legit celebs. To clone the big-time deep state assholes. I wouldn't call Dave Chappelle a B-lister, man. That guy he was on top on comedy for a minute. Bourdain. Bro was on top of his game. Initially, my reaction was, who did he piss off? Any suicide, school shooting, plane crashing? I think fuck their narrative and start deconstructing their facts. First off, before you mentioned Robin Williams, I thought about him. When I heard he was sad and ended it, I thought, what a puss. All that coin and talent. Now looking back, he lived in Frisco, A-plus talent, was not a fan, but the dude ran comedy, HBO specials, big budget movies, Mrs. Doubtfire. Then you guys mentioned him, super meta, hung on a doorknob. Fucking serious, bro? I barely got my tooth out as a kid off of a doorknob. ATT acquiring Time Warner, bro. Does that mean we're down to 4 media giants? Yes, it does. Speaking of which, who controls you guys? Viacom, YouTube? Nope. Bin is controlled by the House of Saud. Big Sal is controlled by CERN. Big Stevie Cool by Russia. And Pop, his CIA handler. Pop, bro, thanks for not taking piss breaks during my email. I do notice on twitch.tv/conspiracyhorseman you go to your phone. Why? I have watched Childish Gambino's shit like 50 times. There's so much going on in that video, bro. First off, when he hands off the guns, what's waiting for them? Red scarves. What the fuck, bro? The church scene, red scars. Predictive programming? How about Ben's cousin in all black on the white horse? Masonic color palette? What's up with the line, I'm so pretty, feminization of the black male? The lyrics are whack as fuck, however, I do like the beats. It switches from a Jamaican beat shit to a bass trunk slumping. I don't know what the fuck that is. Pop. Bro, I want my shine box back. I know why you kept it. I'll pay for the shirt you gave me or traded me. I don't want you using it to hang yourself on the doorknob. I'd feel responsible, bro. Pop wants questions. We want answers. Star Wars. Number 1, favorite movie. 2, favorite Jedi and Sith overall character. Mine's episode 2, Ki Ade Mundi and Darth Bane and Boba Fett. I'm out, Hans.
All right. The reason why I look at my phone is because Sal enlightens us through the Messenger app, and we get a good laugh.
Yeah.
That's why. It's all internal, inside baseball, and you're not invited, Hans, so talk shit. Now, favorite Star Wars movie? That's easy. Empire. Favorite characters? Jedi? Luke. Followed by Obi-Wan. Favorite Sith? Vader, followed by Darth Maul.
I like it. I got to go.
I wonder if I can, if someone asks me what my favorite things are, I can just give the top 3 instead of 1. Because
we know what your top favorite 3 things are.
No,
cardio.
No, but isn't that no kettlebells now? You need to keep up. So I'm wondering why, when someone asks what your favorite thing is, you give a list.
Because he just said favorite Jedi, favorite Sith.
Yeah, he didn't say Jedis and Sith.
No, Jedi is plural.
No, he didn't
plural
say
of Jedi is Jedi.
Well, Jedi is like goose.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in his example, he gave 3 or 4 examples. So I was trying to relate to Hans by giving him more than one example.
Him and Hans love each other.
I just don't understand, why, I'm just trying. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm just buying time till I can find the video of the girl that explains Star Wars.
I mean, everybody knows the main character of Star Wars, Leia. So in the first movie, she's been nominated president. She lives on a planet where it's really cold.
Are you really gonna keep that whole thing running this whole time?
Bang, 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 bang.
She sends out her robot servant, R2-D2, and the gold one.
I'll stop right there on the gold one.
The gold one. The gold one and Ben Hameen, y'all. I'm a Chewbacca.
I can't wait for the next Star Wars when somebody gets nominated president and someone creates a planet to blow up the other planets because they didn't get nominated as president.
That's how I'm doing it. From None of Your Business. Hey, Horseman. Just want to send you an email to say thank you for all the knowledge and truth you bring every week. Contrary to popular opinion, Conrad Thompson is not the king of podcasts. The great Ben Hameen is. Holy shit, thank you. I wish I was getting his paydays. There is no other network out there like the Hameen Media Group. Also wanted to mention Stevie was one of my favorite guys from ECW, although I admit when I first saw him with a cutoff shirt coming through the curtain, I thought he was a hot chick. Big Sal is the man, and GGP is, well, incredible in my book. Heard Ben and Stevie on the Brand's Raw review show last night, mentioned Jesse Ventura and the canceled show he had, where himself and Alex Jones went to look at the lined-up coffins and concentration camps concocted by FEMA. My question is, if the government were to kill people, why would they give them coffins? Why spend the money on that while giving their carcasses a place to rest? Why not just burn them or throw them in a mass grave? If there's any truth to this, is there a plan in the works for a takeover? And does this have any correlation to the new 5G networks? Love to hear your thoughts. You guys have helped open my mind to things I never knew existed, and thank you for that. P.S. My 6-year-old asked me last night if she should give her mom a $5 face slap. See, even the kids love Ben Hameen. Kevin, Seattle. Yeah, I mean, if she needs it, maybe, and the kids' allowance, if that's part of their chores, then lay it down. Appreciate all the kind words in your journey on the awakening. When it comes to these coffins, I don't think it was like, let's give them a proper burial. They were pretty much just big plastic tubs that you could fit 4 bodies in at a time. So maybe they already have it laid out mathematically that it's easier to do it than they just don't want it to look like the mass graves of Vietnamese and Nazi and Jews in World War II. You know what I mean? So I think that they're a new, more earth-conscious genocide.
Well, this is my take on it. One, the smell.
Intake?
No, my take. I said intake. What are you talking about?
Intake. No, you said intake.
No, I did not.
He said it.
God,
He
play
said
it
intake.
back.
He said intake.
Go ahead, play it back.
Bing, 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 bing.
Fucking Rice-A-Roni over here, San Francisco.
Yeah.
That was my Morgan Stanley account going up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, okay. But actually, the funny thing that you said that's one of my reasonings. One, someone's cousin has a coffin company somewhere, and they all bought in, and they're making money on the stock. So that's one. And two, if so many people are going to die, you can't burn them all at once because the smell of the rotting corpses would be astronomical. So they keep them in these plastic bins to contain the smell. That's why.
It's highly probable and possible. Absolutely.
I think in a sick way, they think that, like, they are giving them a really nice burial. Like,
Yep.
we bought them coffins. I mean, the fuck more do they want? Oh, they want to live. Well, sorry.
It's like when people get hot, then you give them a new rope to hang them with.
Well, yeah, I think it's all part of that. The whole PR campaign of it is like, oh, those mosquitoes, they backfired, and now everyone's got a deadly virus, and they're dying at a rapid rate. Or like the Georgia Guidestones with depopulation. Well, these people who were poor, they just can't. If a whole family died, who's going to pay for their burial? We just happen to have these full family coffins hanging out here. So
how coincidental?
Yeah, just happened to be that way, right? I think that's what it is. I think it was a greater depopulation plan. These were seen in Atlanta, they were seen in Texas, and they were seen at the Illuminati Airport in Denver as well. So all major FEMA regions, FEMA camps. So that's our take on it. Is that the truth? And how long ago was that? That had to be over a decade ago that was exposed. So we'll see. They never give up their plans. They just prolong them.
Maybe they'll change their mind and actually be baby faces about it and get rid of all the terrible drivers in Atlanta.
Yeah, that would be nice, right?
I'll create a guidestone for that.
Oh, shit. Sal, you got anything to add on that?
No, I'm reading the chat, and from Citizen AMS, or a new doorknob. And then Scott Link says Tupperware needed to expand their container business.
That's good. You would have liked last night's Master Shoot Theater. I was Nakamura, and Stevie was the cop, and
the dog?
and Russo was the dog.
Tremendous.
Yeah. So,
Roof.
yeah.
Oh, the best part was, and it was the elephant in the room, not Nia Jax, by the way.
No,
it was the elephant in the room for 2.5 hours when the story got brought up. I was like, who is going to be the asshole with the Nakamura dog reference? Who is going to be the asshole? And it was Nakamura himself, actually. It said the dog was delicious as he was talking to him.
You're delicious.
Delicious.
From A. Mason, happy Wednesday. Ciao, happy Wednesday, guys. I missed the last couple of weeks emailing due to some training at work. Most days during the trainings were like hanging out with Papadon and all that wild background noise. I have fashioned a sweet jar for each individual and placed them upon the altar. I have done weekly candle burnings on them and offered sacrifices to the gods to ensure their effectiveness. As always, keep spreading the truth and making people question the norm. XOXOXO, hot Tennessee witchy, picture included. I will forward that to the chat. So yeah, thank you, dear. We have missed you. We appreciate your emails always and all the voodoo that you do. Hopefully we can get the pilot where we want it to be, and hopefully all of our taping this Friday and Saturday on our schedule, which is loaded before we do the show, comes off without a hitch and the weather complies. And we just keep staying creative to give you guys all that you seem to be enjoying so far. I don't think we've gotten one email that says you guys fucking suck and I'm sick of listening to you. So
maybe Road Dogg might be coming with that one.
Well, let him.
I was gonna say, how far in the bag are you?
Hey, by the way, is the weather supposed to hold up this weekend?
I haven't looked yet, but I will after I read this email.
No
and
snow,
pitch it
right?
It was pretty cold here today.
Awesome.
Actually, a cold rain, which was strange for beginning of July.
Couple things. One, when we shoot this weekend, Stevie, you gotta wear no sleeves because when they'll see your arms, we'll definitely get a show. So don't hide those guns. Two, do you know why police dogs lick their balls?
Delicious.
To get the taste of Nakamura out their mouth.
Wow. So it's supposed to be shitty tomorrow, but then Friday is going to be 84 and sunny, and then Saturday 90 and sunny. So I'll actually get a hold of the venue on Friday.
It's 97 on Sunday. Holy shit, man.
90
That's
here.
crazy.
Yeah. So
I'm saying 97 in Rome.
Oh, is it?
On Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. So they definitely need to turn the AC on in that hockey rink the day before. I'll make sure that's done.
It's a hockey rink.
Yeah, it's a good place. Locker room's nice. It's not cramped at all, but when it's fucking hot in there, bro, it's hot. I was in there for a 2CW show one summer, and they didn't turn it on, and it was a ball breaker.
Can we do a spot where Sasquatch slips on the ice?
You know what? I think that's going to happen on its own. I don't even think
we need to plan it, dude. He fucking showed up, did the whole ring crew last time, and they're like, "You got your gear?" He's like, "Yeah, I got it." Goes in his bag, didn't have my gear. He fucking drove an hour and a half home to go get it to make it back.
Fucking favorite.
Fucking Sasquatch. All right. Angelo Andrews says, what are your thoughts on Dr. Stephen Greer, and have you seen his documentary or read his book on Unacknowledged? I think we've covered this. This movie was interesting. I believe there's something up there, especially now that Trump's starting Space Force. If it existed 5 years ago, as I have an open mind like I do today, I probably would have enlisted after high school to get the Inside Stooge report. I'm just glad someone is talking about this. Just kidding. It says sent from my iPhone. It says just kidding. I have an Android, but it pops me when you read it from people's emails sent from their iPhone. At Angelo Andrews 35 on Twitter, Instagram, PayPal, and Gmail. Y'all, that was a good little rib. Yeah, I think we covered this, bro. I'm with you. To be honest with you, I haven't
seen it. Have you seen what is it called? Undisclosed?
Yeah, Unacknowledged.
Unacknowledged. Have you seen it?
Yeah,
is it on Netflix? Right, it is, right?
Well, that's his book, but he does like a video version on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that was my thing when I said to you guys, what are the odds that, we have Space Force, but I think that's going to be our big boost in armed force services, because I think kind of people started falling off on that.
Yeah.
People started giving up on that shit, and they're like, nobody wanted to be a fucking hero anymore. And now Space Force showed up, and I think it'll be, well, you got to join the normal armed services, and then we'll pick you from there.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like I don't know, you guys remember when Starship Troopers came out? If they would have set up a fucking table outside of the fucking place, everybody would have signed up after leaving that movie.
Yep.
It's a point of Space Force. Fuck yeah, I'm in. That would be automatic.
I'm surprised they didn't do it in to coincide with Star Trek and Star Wars releases, to be honest with you.
That would be hokey.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're in the Coast Guard, you have the least chance of getting into Space Force. From Aunt Daniel, hey guys, have you heard of Operation Fishbowl? They said they were shooting nukes into the sky to test the effects on radar and intercontinental ballistic missiles. You know my angle. The Flat Earth guys have similar idea as to what they were shooting at. Operation Fishbowl and Dominic. What is the significance of these words? How do you tie these theories together? What do you do when you print money, place the officials, and control people's mind with fake opposition and entertainment? What do you want when you seemingly have everything? Has this happened before? Retcon is retroactive continuity and adding things to backstory for the sake of current story. That's an important line right there. Retcon is retroactive continuity or adding things to a backstory for the sake of current story. Everything's a work. Peace. Very good, Aunt Daniel. I've heard of Fishbowl. I haven't heard of Dominic. I'm not sure if anybody else
That's Rey Mysterio's
has.
son.
Dominic?
Put him on a pole.
Yeah. But yeah, if they're shooting nukes into space or shooting nukes in the sky, and we're talking flat Earth to bust through the firmament, where Hillary Clinton talked about that glass ceiling shattering and all that kind of shit, and we have the Simpsons predictive programming of when it busts and oceans come through and whales come pouring down into the stadium. It's all a crazy interesting work, especially with the videos we've been sharing about flat Earth and then space being faked, but then also bases on the moon. Man, we're kind of in a weird place right now. I think all of us horsemen wise, we have a foundation of what we believe each individually, but every month it seems like it gets eroded away a little bit more, not to put us into the other camp, just to be in like the what the fuck is really going on camp, and there's no real answers there. What do you think, Sal?
First of all, I want to say that Papa Don you probably missed a whole big thing with Operation Fishbowl, and then he called out Mysterio, and that's what Spider-Man called Mysterio, Fishbowl head.
Really?
Nothing.
I missed that.
I got it.
All right. Okay. Well, no sell. Thanks, though. But yeah, as far as the firmament and the cracking and the whales and the whole bit, but you know, but like I said, it's.
Wasn't there something with Star Trek and whales in one of the movies?
Yeah,
Star
right,
Trek
the voyage
4,
home.
yeah.
I don't.
That sucked.
I don't know.
Stop it.
I don't know if
did suck.
that has anything
it
to
suck?
do. You know.
Because when you come out with
Listen,
Star Trek 2,
this is what
which
I don't
was
understand.
Great.
Why can't you accept that there's room enough for both people to enjoy both things? One doesn't have to suck to make the other one better. If you have to elevate on the back of something else, then that is obviously the thing that sucks. It's there for all of us. We're all enjoying it. Let's all follow Gene Roddenberry's example, and all of us enjoy it all.
Listen,
it did
bro,
not suck. It was it was a very good one, by the way.
Yeah, I disagree. They had
George
whales.
Lucas used to hang out with Kevin Spacey all the time. That's what I've heard.
Who did?
Good.
George Lucas and Harvey Weinstein.
He was
and Ted Bundy.
That's a fucking click right there.
Right there, right? But they had whales in Star Wars 2 and Star Wars Rebels, and it sucked too. Whales don't belong in space. That's it. That's why it sucked.
There are space whales. There are such things.
Space whale. Nia Jax. Stevie, what are you thinking about?
Take up space.
I just don't know if they're trolling with the names way back with Operation Fishbowl. And I think Dominic was just kind of like a play off a dome. These kinds of things, you know, fishbowl is like, why are you calling it fishbowl? Has nothing to do with the ocean, has to do with the sky. And a fishbowl is what the flat earthers claim the firmament is like.
Right.
There are some unique pictures and videos that these flat earth videos show where when it does explode with these tests and stuff in the air, that it kind of dissipates at a certain point. You know, I don't know if it's atmosphere. I'm no scientist, but it seems to have the same exact pattern when those nuclear explosions happened during the atmospheric testing. Let's not forget that when we launched the nuclear test and even the nuclear bomb, we wanted it to be so much more powerful, and we weren't even sure if the sky was ever going to be put out when we believed it would probably go on fire. Remember?
Yeah.
They said because the blast would just set the entire atmosphere of the planet on fire, and they said, we're still going to do it. We'll just turn it down a little bit. I mean, that's how crazy people in power are to do that. I mean, without even realizing. That's the mosquito analogy.
Sure.
We don't even
They'll just
realize
punch it
what we're
through the
doing.
Van Allen belt.
Yeah, we'll just punch it. We'll punch it through the atmosphere and put the fire into space.
Duke boys that shit.
You have to still look at the guy with the most amount of credibility, the American hero of the time, the Indiana Jones of the time, Admiral Byrd. Admiral Byrd was pretty much everything any man would want to be back then. And, besides the fact he was in the military, he was trusted with classified information, and he made these trips to Antarctica, deep within Antarctica, and talked about all these different things on a landmass as big as the United States, if not larger. And then there was this huge battle where we almost got destroyed. I mean, 3/4 or 2/3 of a military fleet. Why would you send a military fleet that strong to a place that supposedly nothing is going on? And we got fucked up. So something's being hidden there. And as far as the nuclear test and the Operation Fistball goes along with Operation High Jump, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? What are you jumping over? Did they claim there's a big wall? There's an energy wall. There's some wall to go over. You can't think that far back. They knew what even a troll was. Like, hey, let's call it this. And then when these fucking people on YouTube, which isn't even invented yet, say, "Oh yeah, obviously you're doing it for that reason. We can get a big pop, even though we'll be dead." I mean.
Yeah, the naming convention does stooge it off, man. The high jump, the whole nine, man. Now that I do think about it, I wasn't thinking Dome with Dominic. I was trying to think something else of like Domino, but
Pizzagate, little boy Dominic.
Right. It could be. Somebody says the dogs of war are barking. Not my dogs of war. Interesting enough. Greg Mosier says, I didn't even disclose in the first email, but U of L was the place I worked for, not the college campus, but downtown where all the hospitals are off Baxter are very sketchy. Worked in the basement. Tell Sal I know a couple of people that worked there, and I'll find out if the dude was Scottish. That might be last week's something we were talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about the Scottish guys who they said that they were training the soldiers to actually vibrate and teleport through walls.
Right.
They were teaching them to phase through as an actual technique.
There's some crazy stuff going on in Louisville that we didn't know about, man.
Yeah, right?
From
wrestling's the most normal thing. Hey, by the way, this is Greg's the one who does the drawings, the amazing drawings for the shirts.
Yeah.
And he's the one that now recently got blocked by Satin and the other guy.
Yeah, Bixen or whatever. Congratulations on that, man. Appreciate it. And I'm still not blocked by Bixen. I got to try harder. A celebration of love from Doug Varnum. Hi, Brand family. This is Doug Varnum, and I've several special announcements. Thanks to Tony Sever. No. Let me see all this out.
Is this a fucking ad for dick pills?
No, this is one of the dudes who I'm actually not going to read this. It was a troll thing. There's this bullshit with some marks on Russo brand trying to bury each other, and this dude just keeps creating bullshit.
Those emails?
Yeah. So fuck that guy. Go find a doorknob and a scarf. For Four Horsemen, gender neutral messaging from John Taylor. I've been listening to you since you had Curious Jay on. I'm a flat earther. Was glad to find Stevie is podcasting, as I was a fan of his work in ECW and WWE. They should have used him better. Although the right to censor was a good gimmick when I think of it because they had heat. Ben, you and Big Sal and GGP, the Horsemen, was my first exposure I had to you guys, and it didn't take long for you all to be over with me. I don't claim to know the full dimensions of the earth, but I know we have been lied to, and it's not a globe. I like to stick to provable, repeatable facts. First off, observable reality bodies of water don't stick and curve or bend around the outside of shapes. If water doing this in reality cannot be demonstrated, which it can't, then the globe is impossible. Second point is space is claimed to be a vacuum. We live in pressure. Pressure needs to be contained. A vacuum also needs to be contained. Point being, we are told there's pressure and a vacuum connected without a barrier between them, which is impossible. Because if that were true, they would seek equilibrium and the air would be sucked from the earth. I would love to know the full dimensions of the Earth, but but for as long as people cling to the globe and the Arctic and the Antarctic treaties exist, we will not know. Anyway, love the show and keep up the good work. I am sometimes in the chat and on Twitch under the JT The Game, and if I miss a live stream, I catch the podcast. I listen to you from Coventry, England, Horsemen over Strong worldwide. Well, thank you very much, man. Appreciate all the international love.
Right.
Go ahead,
can I put an end to the flat Earth thing?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You never will. Stop it.
No, let me put an end to it right now.
It's the hot shit, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's garbage. So, look at it this way, and I will explain this so everybody can understand. And Papa Don, you could back me up on the science.
Bing, bing, bing.
Right.
My audio is hanging in for this.
So, just look at around Superman, right? Right? Superman's cape flaps in the wind. Superman's cape gets damaged, right? The rest of him does not. And why is that, GGP? Tell them the science. Why?
Because Superman is Superman. He can't penetrate his skin. You can't shoot
Superman
him. He's indestructible.
He has a force field around him that the cape does flap out, and that's why the cape is the first thing to be destroyed, just like Earth's little cover. Okay? If you were to go outside of that, then you can float out all over into space. Otherwise, everything is contained in the little circle of Earth, surrounded by the little force field. That's all. Very simple.
Which for you is ozone.
Is that Space Force's force field?
That is the Superman theory, and you can quote me on that. That is science.
So you're saying ozone layer and upper atmosphere are that force field that keep the pressure, so the vacuum, so the water can go around the globe.
Right. And once you pop that out, then you can go all over the place. But you can't, because you can't break that like Superman's little force field. You have to punch it literally harder than that force field is.
Wait, are you talking about punching through the Van Allen belts too?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God. You just have to go faster through the Van Allen belts.
You got to really step down on the gas on that one.
I think you cloned. They cloned Sal this time.
Cloned Sal. Jesus.
At CERN.
I have to announce this too, because Billy Ray, if he's still in the chat room, has been working on getting journalism on the show. He's a huge wrestling fan, by the way. But Paul on the Plane, I think, is just about confirmed for July 25th. So
cool. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, so that'll. I'm just gonna let him and Sal have a conversation.
I don't have to have a conversation. I've just explained it so everybody can understand it.
Okay, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
How many times do I have to explain?
No.
Sal deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, you're doing a Raven.
You're being preposterous. I've already explained myself. It's a Superman theory. It's a Superman theory.
There's nothing left.
You're an idiot. You're all idiots.
They've just been given. They've been given the ammunition. Been popping on, as can agree with this as well and back me up on it. The NASA lies, the NASA disinformation, the stuff that doesn't add up. Whatever holes they punch in it, it's just like when people say, why do you still think 9/11 isn't what they told us? It's all these holes in the information of the narrative. NASA's got way more of a track record than the 9/11 and post 9/11 of doing this kind of stuff. So maybe they should just tell everybody what's really going on and show real pictures instead of composite images, and then maybe flat earthers will go away. Maybe somebody else would come back, because it could be nothing on any end of what people think it is.
Did you guys see the video that I posted in the messenger in the chat that that guy says the Earth is flat? There's a dome. There's a firmament. There's a dome made of some type of glass, molten glass that it's found in desert, and then that in the North Pole there is a vortex, and he showed a picture of it from a plane, and light was coming out of the vortex, and they're saying if you go through that, you go down beneath the landmass. So if the Earth is flat and then you got the dome, underneath the landmass, it's supposed to be Agartha, which is supposed to be heaven. And he's saying that's where fulfillment and enlightenment truly is, and it's all love, and it is like a black hole sun down there as opposed to the sun that's up top. It was some interesting stuff. Whether it's true or not, I don't know.
After
I
we
personally think the world is round.
after we find the alien gold, that's our next fucking mission.
Nice.
I'd love to go to fucking Antarctica. That'd be some shit.
Yeah, me too.
No, I said North Pole.
North Pole.
Same thing.
No, that's the middle. That's water right now. There's no
Yeah.
island there.
There's no island there. That's Mandela effect. That's the smoking gun right there.
Marijuana cover-up question from Mike Chimeria. Hello, Horseman. My question this week is about the use of marijuana and how it became a restricted drug in the first place when the uses for it along with hemp seem to be far-reaching. I never have been a fan of the drug but firmly support the many medicinal uses for it, and I don't see why it's ever been considered illegal. Why do you guys think in the early cover-up in the classification of it? Quick sidebar for Ben. I tried to keep this email short for you, but being from the UK, I need to let you know that your pronouncing of Jimmy Saville's name is wrong. It's pronounced like the word savvy, so pronouncing Savule and not not just Savile or Jimmy Savile or Jimmy. Fuck it, it's Jimmy Saville.
What about just child fucker? How's that?
Yeah, we beat
your
ass in 1776. I'll say how I want to say it. Just wanted to give you the Iggy in case you covered this on the History Channel. Got to keep you over strong, brother. Thanks, fellas. Mike, just busting balls. Appreciate the check, man. I can botch a lot of spots. There's no doubt about that.
You sent the check?
I don't know, man. What's the media mogul turn of the century?
Morgan.
J.P. Morgan?
No.
William Hearst.
Yeah. The reason weed is illegal is William Randolph Hearst. Many things were made out of hemp, and he ran most of the media that way and also controlled a huge amount of forest industry. So for him to purchase hemp when he could be a paper supplier was the main reason why, and then to do whatever propaganda he wanted to and use that money to make marijuana and hemp illegal. That's how it all started. And I've seen the tax stamps from the turn of the century of hemp and things like that, and then they just are gone instantly. But right now, I just saw Cuomo and other New York politicians are up on making everything completely decriminalized and to have recreational marijuana where we already have it. I think there's going to be a huge push. I was just in Canada and visited my first dispensary just to go check it out for the first time after 20 years of having to play kayfabe and deal with all this shit.
Brownies?
No, I just grabbed a $3 joint. I was off for 2 years almost, and WrestleMania just hit a little bit here and there. But to go into a dispensary, it just fucked me up. I was walking down the street and seeing people smoking weed on the streets. I just like, this is crazy, and that's how it is in Toronto right now. On October 14th, dudes in the locker room were telling me that you can have 4 plants and carry up to an ounce on you at a time. You can buy a quarter pound, I think, from the dispensary. It's just insane after, having to call this guy or that guy to get it delivered and all this other shit. So, it's finally here. We're here in this new age where after we've gone through OxyContin and fucking now a heroin epidemic and all that shit's going to go by the wayside. And people in states are going to make a shit ton more money, $30 million in taxes possibly projected in the first year alone. And, I doubt they'll give up what they charge us to travel the highways. I think it cost me $8 to go from the middle of New York to Buffalo. Another $5 to cross the fucking bridges. I know going into New York City, it's just goddamn unbelievable right
Verrazano, $17.
That's
fucking believable. And you think they'll stop that raping? No, they'll never give that money up.
Of course not, dude. Because we're dumb enough to pay it.
Well, I mean, it was supposed to be 1995 or 98. I can't remember. That was supposed to be when all of the Route 90 and all the highways were paid for. We weren't supposed to be paying any more for that. And what did they do in the last 4 years? Doubled and tripled the price of it in certain spots, man. So that's
the whole thing about weed.
Yep, please.
You're right. That's how it started because the guys didn't want to convert to printing on hemp because everything was based on paper and he had a paper industry. But then they used racism as a propaganda tool to promote weed as a drug. They were saying that all the Mexicans smoke and all the blacks are going to smoke weed and come rape your women. They actually have ads of this in the paper. So they use fright and racism as a tool to have this the people believe the narrative, which is you know, unfortunately, a tool they still use today. Might not be racism, but they do use false narratives to push the agenda, even back then and as today. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the Constitution is printed on hemp, and our first flag that Bessie Ross sewed was made out of hemp. So if you go into the to museum where they're hanging that, it's hemp. So hemp was used. It was actually a major product that the U.S. made money on. Now, as far as it getting legalized in New York, weed. Look at Colorado. Colorado went from a deficit to a $3 billion surplus because of weed becoming legal. Yeah. So, you know, I'm all for it, dude. And I don't even smoke weed. So.
Yeah, it's just going to be the new way of things, and it's going to be, that's where the divide of our generation with the kids coming up who are already doing it in vape and all that kind of shit anyway, of like, holy shit, I remember when I used to have to call Big John to fucking come deliver it at 2 a.m. and picking seeds out and shit, and like now seed and weed is unheard of in that shit. But I know those guys in Canada are smoking some fucking power. I'll tell you that much. Holy shit.
I wish they would do the same thing with when it comes to energy.
Oh, absolutely.
Energy was a Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan. Yep. Hearst was probably in that. Those guys were all in that. You know, basically not antitrust. They were part of like the monopoly type stuff before the antitrust laws. Jacob Israel did a video on it. I haven't watched it yet, but it's about all this stuff with.
I watched it today. It was very good.
I saw it.
It was good.
It was good.
It was very good. And I saw a Bill Burr spot too where he goes, you know what? Fuck all this oil and all this sludge in the Middle East. You want to fucking win. All you do is give all of these fucking major oil companies, you give them the sun. You say, you guys own the fucking sun now. And we switch everything to solar power. They still get their nut, but we're done with fucking all this bullshit with Middle Eastern wars and shit like that. Pretty interesting premise, even though it's, you know, comedic.
Yeah, but the problem with that is we can't base our economy on the sun. We can base our petrodollar on the oil.
You can if you turn around and fucking all cars, they get a cut of it. All fucking roofs are made solar power and all that kind of shit and kick back into it. It's just about them owning a fucking commodity more than it is the money.
I agree with you. Well, yeah, but the money's based on the commodity because we have nothing to back our money.
So you just tell them they own this fucking sun.
If we do everything solar power, what are you going to put our money on?
Yeah. Well,
the only thing that's keeping the U.S. economy afloat is the petrodollar. So if we banish that, we're fucked.
Sun dollars, baby.
Sun dollars. There you go.
Sun bucks.
Sun bucks. Yes.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
All right. You said they only allowed to carry a quarter pound of weed at a time?
Oh, no, an ounce.
A quarter ounce, right?
No, so just an ounce, not a quarter.
Is that called a Royale Munchies?
Munchies.
He tried to create his own fucking joke and didn't even know the measurement of it.
Yeah, he got it.
I know you're getting mad at me, but like he clearly said it was an ounce, which I don't even know what an ounce is.
That was good.
An ounce is about $300.
Really?
Well, but an ounce will last you, man. An ounce can last unless you're a fucking super smoker. An ounce will last you 2 weeks, maybe a little longer, but like unless you're going to like a big party, but up there ounces are $90 now. So I was like, they asked
Canadians?
me like,
that's like $3 American, right?
Well, fucking they're $5 joints Canadian, so $3 something American. They asked me 2 questions. They go, are you with law enforcement? No. Are you going to traffic this across the border? I go, no. And then I get in there, I see ounces are $90. I go, fuck, I could quadruple my money if I.
Whoa.
No.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. This was actually probably like a year or two ago. There was something about Canadian pot growers, how like it started out as like just kind of hippie schmucks who were just doing this, and these guys became like moguls, and they were getting fucking wiped out by big drug dealers because these guys were just, oh man, we're just gonna make some fucking weed, and then they were just getting murdered by guys who were like, we can make millions of dollars in weed, selling weed, which is ridiculous if you think about it. You know, it's like.
Yeah. I mean, the big lesson here is, in, you know, Papadon's down there on Investment Row, is you got to get in right now. If you got, and I'm thinking about this, any money of who's going to be the big supplier, because you see fucking New York flip the switch, dude, it's just going to be crazy.
True story.
We'll talk off air. I got a couple inside tracks. I was looking up this yesterday.
All right.
True story. One of the guys that I actually did training with a year and change ago, his parents own a tobacco farm down south. So the dad's getting up in years, but it's been a tobacco farm forever. And him and the 3 other brothers with him are trying to convert everything for when they finally give the go ahead.
Absolutely.
Right. So now I guess there's a congressman down there who is on the radio every 5 minutes trying to put over, hey, vote for this, get this done, get this done, get this done. So all of these farmers in this area have all gotten on board, and they all want to start converting their farm because this guy came to them and promised them, I will have this done by 2019.
I believe it.
And these are giant tobacco farms.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So it's not like this is going to be like a $50, oh, we fucking lost out. Like, this is going to be huge.
Mega. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And everything from, they had suckers, lollipops, fucking brownies, little fucking chocolates, gummies. They had it all, man. It was fucking crazy. It's just tough.
Probably be cool to, if he wasn't such a fucking kayfaber, to get Val on.
I know that it would be, but
his loss.
He doesn't want to be over, so don't be.
Well, now we don't want him on. Too late.
From Justin French, question for the show. Got 2 emails left here, guys, so thank you for writing into conspiracyhorsemen@gmail.com, and thanks for being patient so we could get to it all. Justin French says, brothers, I'll keep it short. Not sure if it's a conspiracy or not, but have you ever heard of people having problems sleeping on a full moon? Last night, Sunday, I couldn't sleep, just tossed and turned, went outside, sure enough, full moon. This has been happening to me since I was probably 12 to 13. I'm 25 now. I Googled it, and a lot of people have this problem, but no answers or theories. What are your thoughts? Also, all the listeners, if you want to change your life, seriously look into the Stevie Richards fitness program. It's amazing. Stevie takes pride in helping people. P.S. GGP, if you keep up the hard work, maybe one day you'll be as over as Sal. Yalla.
I can dream.
Bing, 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 bing. Yeah, man. The moon, I was actually talking to somebody about this lunar stuff while I was in Canada, how crazy it is. And Crow 777 has some really great podcasts on this. So if you haven't, go back and check out his archives. But, I remember one of these guys I hunt with, he had bought this thing called the moon dial, which actually tracks the phases of the moon so you can see how animals will react. And we as humans think we're so goddamn important that like something lunar or something cosmic isn't going to affect us. We're just animals too, just maybe a little more enlightened and aware, or unaware, I guess.
Some of us anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, of course it's going to affect us as we transverse through space and are hit with who knows what types of radiations and lunar signals along those lines that change our frequency and change our patterns of behavior. Which
kills that whole fucking theory of the moon's a metal base that the Nazis made.
Sure. And there's a lot to it too of women in their cycles, menstrual cycles, and a lot of that is the Greek words are related directly to that as well. So
can't go swimming; they'll attract sharks that time.
That's it. So I don't doubt it, man. And maybe just you're a little more in tune and aware with it now as you are hitting your quarter century change. That happens to a lot of people when you hit 25. Some things, I know a lot of people have developed allergies right around that they never had before as well. So you may be going through some stuff that way, and just being more aware of it as you get older. Anybody else got anything they want to put on that?
No, the moon is occupied by, I don't know, people, aliens, whatever. There's civilization on the moon, and what we see is just a holographic image over it, in my opinion.
Okay.
Me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Bing, 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 bing.
Whatever. I have to downgrade to the previous Skype. This is not working out for me.
I want you to hear it back because it was a fucking awesome spot.
It was great. Yeah.
I won something. That's what happened. I won another beverage cooler for my home gym. It's mysterious. I once again, I refer to Crow 777. He talks a lot about the moon. He talks a lot about natural stuff, referring to the Farmer's Almanac. We've lost a lot of touch with nature, and the moon's a big part of that. And it would be really good to get back into that. But once again, like looking online, the information might be skewed. the library would probably be looking at older books to see how stuff like that operates, you know? And I'm still fascinated. I want to get a Nikon P900 because just how close people can zoom in with that camera to the moon just raises that question of 239,000 miles, and you can just zoom right in and get right up close on the surface of the moon. It's really really odd.
Yeah, it definitely does make you wonder if those projections are right, because you could be standing on, like, let's say Devil's Tooth or something like that. Like, say you're a climber and you take it up there. How far can you zoom in just on the face of the earth or something? If you can get the moon at that rate, you should be able to get in on a mosquito's ass at 2 miles.
You should be able to get license plates and stuff, and I should be able to zoom in on a license plate and like all the way across the country or something, you know, if I'm high enough.
Yep.
That was the point that in that video that Richie from Boston was saying, that he can zoom up with his Nikon up to the moon and actually see the craters and see structure on the moon, but he can't zoom to a certain building in his area, which is only 5 miles away, because it gets blurry. So he's saying that there's no way the moon is 235,000 miles or 200,000 plus miles away. Makes a valid point. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Sal?
No, I'm a full believer that the moon does affect everyone's. It does affect your moods. It can affect your brain waves and how you handle things. Again, you go and look, and I need proof of it. Go look, and despite them trying to turn it they're trying to downplay it. A lot of cops say, oh, it has no effect, but we do have an upgrade of violence. We do have an upgrade of people being fucking nuts.
Sure.
Hospitals, ERs. I have a lady who I work with who her daughter is an ER in Philly, and they all wait. They're all like, oh shit, it's gonna be a big one, because they actually look on when the moon's gonna be full. So it's old school thinking that it's kind of one of those things you just got to keep it in mind, because it actually does mean something.
Absolutely, man. I think it's interesting just to even study that energy. Why is it that before we say does it? I mean, what is that energy? How can we capture it in some type of experimental test and say, what is that? Is that dark matter that rains down upon us? Who knows?
Let me go real quick with a question. Do you think that they spray chemtrails before a full moon as opposed to other times? Because then people are more susceptible to that kind of behavior. I mean, it's because it seems like you've accused your friends in Chicago. They must be breathing in those chemtrails, because people are acting like crazy all the time now. But during that time, I wonder if they experiment to see if people are going to be more susceptible.
Yeah, that is a great point. I don't personally, I just haven't thought of that to clock it, of like, have I seen a correlation between the two? But it seems like if there's heavy metals in there that it can block it, then there is a possibility of that being the case. The Chicago thing is weird, man. Even some of my best friends who I sent some stuff this week totally kayfabe me. So it's like they're holding some secret grudge for no reason. Other people are still very cool. I'm not going to say they're not, but some people I think are beyond the point of no return, unfortunately, and that's sad. That saddens me.
Maybe they're jealous because you got that sponsorship from the beard company. And
I mean, CanYouHandleBar.com has been good to me, so that's just how it is. Last question, or last email rather, it's entitled Asgardia from Robert Womack. I was wondering if y'all have heard of Asgardia, the space nation, and what do y'all think about it? Their website is https:/asgardia.space/en/. It sounds really interesting to me. It's supposed to be the first ever space nation. They had their inauguration for the head of state on Monday, June 25th, 2018. Your last guest was Raymond Wiley. Lost my interest first thing when he started making fun of Southerners. Some of us from the South really enjoy and support the Conspiracy Horsemen. The last hour of the show was good. I'm sorry, but I have to be honest. Thanks, Robert Womack at Trey31968 Twitter. Appreciate it, Robert. I make fun of Southerners too, so it's just a rib.
We make fun of everybody.
Yeah, you got to take your ball busting where you get it. I'm sure you have seen some of the stereotypes we put over. Sal and I lived in Louisville for long enough that...
Isn't Raymond from the South?
Yeah, he's from the South.
Dude, this is fucking awesome. I'm looking at the site. They have Asgardia 1 satellite flying overhead. There's 203,882 citizens. I don't know how this is different. 219,095 residents, 200 plus countries, 172nd in population size. Dude, we got to join this.
They have they have an anthem and a flag.
It's an online community.
Yeah.
No, it's a space kingdom. I mean, that's what
become an Asgardian in less than 5 minutes. It says so. Nice website.
I don't get it. But the people live on Earth, so how the hell the space nation? If
because
it's based on
you
Earth?
can have different people from different planets join the space kingdom.
Read the Constitution of Asgardia.
Okay.
Accepted the Constitution. There it is. It's a big Constitution here. It is 20 articles. It has a preamble. Constitution of the Space Kingdom of Asgardia. My Odin would love this. Where's he at? Oh, baby. I accept the Constitution. 211,000 people, 129. Dude, I mean, this one's probably adhered to more than the one we have right now.
I'm down.
Probably,
I'm down
dude.
to join.
We're definitely going to look more into Asgardia, and you never know. Maybe we'll get a guest on, maybe the new president of Asgardia.
Speaking of guests,
cool.
I'd like to say in our chat room, we have just been joined by We Are the Dynasty.
Oh, there he is.
Nice.
That son of a bitch. It's going to be a big weekend.
Andy? He got in his high chair. And
Somebody gave him boosties, and he is standing on top of the desk, and he is.
Did you see the new video they put out where I interrupt this bratty little kid singing the national anthem, and then I just about missed taking his head off by an inch with the Hameen flag? It's pretty strong. But
dude, these supreme values of Asgardia are awesome. It's it's some of the stuff. Supremacy of Asgardia's laws, preservation of space, environment, community, and mutual support. I'm just reading from the middle here. It sounds like the Guidestones, actually.
Does it?
Yeah. I mean, they're already under 500 million, so they're there.
Awesome.
Dude, this is... Sal, you'll get a kick out of this. This is like full on, like role-playing. I would love
like a LARP.
Yeah, I'm definitely down.
I don't know. We'll see. Let's see if people are... I mean, they're talking about taxes and stuff here, too.
Yeah, you can make a donation if you need to. But we'll just put them over and give them free press here on the Conspiracy Horsemen. But hey, guys, that's your gender-neutral messaging system. We appreciate you guys sticking with us all the way through Echo Mike Alpha Indigo Lima Sierra to get through all your emails, and appreciate you writing in at conspiracyhorsemen@gmail.com. And another great night at twitch.tv/conspiracyhorsemen for everyone to join the live chat there. You guys had some great ribs, great chat, and just fun to always have you guys there. So we appreciate your dedication to bringing it in here. Anybody else have anything you want to add before we do some plugs?
Yeah, let me ask you. Let's put this up.
Sorry. Didn't Big Cass get fired for being too rough with We Are the Dynasty?
Oh, wow. Wow. How am I going to follow that? I was going to say, can we change it from gender neutral messaging system to just NV messaging system because he's obviously gender neutral with those girl jeans he wears.
Bing, 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 bing.
Come on, leave Chachi alone.
Yeah.
Chachi.
Where's
like
that little
Joni.
With that bandana around his fucking leg.
Crotchy.
Hopefully,
Crotchy Smurf over there.
Hopefully he doesn't throw down any more Hurricanes and take himself out before the end of the show today. We are the Conspiracy Horsemen. Yeah, and if you didn't know, it's all horsemen this Saturday, Rome, New York. I don't care if you're within 5 hours drive, you should be there because it's a banner day. We're going to get together probably around 2:30 after we've been taping for 2 days, so we'll be pretty well pissed off and angry at everything, and do another Horseman show on Saturday. So hopefully if we get signal from over there, we'll have it to upload or go live with. Otherwise, we'll upload it as soon as we can. And we're going to have a kick-ass show for the Dynasty World Title Tournament and defend our tag titles. So you guys definitely should come out and check us out. But go ahead, Pop. What's going down, man?
I guess Envy, when he gets out of his high chairs, when the show's over, he'll go back to being the angry little Smurf he is, I have no idea. I mean, this Saturday, like we've been saying all show, we're going to be at Dynasty. So there's a plug.
Yeah.
So other than that, go on my Pro Wrestling Tees store, Greek God Papadon. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Greek God Papadon. Facebook, Demetrius Papadon. Twitter, Greek God Papadon. You know, and if you want to make a donation to the Horsemen, just send it to Papadon595 at yahoo.com. That's my PayPal account. And if you want to book the Bookie Monster, just hit me up.
Yeah, y'all fucking Citizen AM in the chat room bitching off that there's no show tonight. We just did fucking 2 hours and 35 minutes on Mailbag and Potpourri show.
Got it.
Holy shit.
Who is it? Citizen AM?
Yeah.
Fucking people stop mailbagging so we can get a show, for fuck's sake.
I think we still gave him a good hour.
I
before
fucking
got
think
to
we
the
did
mail.
too.
Hey, you want a good show, Citizen? Come to
I think he
Dynasty
came
and
in
see the
late.
live show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Y'all, Stevie Cool, what's the word, man?
Well, I wanted to let everybody know that I like everybody to know that I'm going to downgrade Skype as soon as I get off this show. Also, if you would like to, the updated news right now, and Sal, I was going to ask you to be my running mate, but you're being mean to me.
How am I being mean to you?
Oh, shit.
Oh, you're not down with the bing. You're not go.
Wait a minute. How am I being mean? I didn't say any. I was just listening to you, and you were coming back at me. You were attacking me with whatever you were throwing at me when you went bing, and then
I was doing the Trump bing bong boom.
That's it.
So, I'd like to announce my candidacy to run for the parliament.
Candidacy.
Oh shit! Like what?
like pastor of Paris.
Okay, listen.
No, I said
pop it
plastic.
on. No.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
see, I mispronounce one word every so often. You pronounce something correctly every so often. So let's go before my fucking Skype fucks up.
Where are you?
I'm announcing I'm throwing my hat into the race for the Parliament of the Asgardia Space Kingdom.
Oh, nice.
And
Very
I'm
good.
going to nominate myself. So if you'd like to vote for me,
I will second that.
well, you're going to be my running mate. So that's what it goes. So we're going to, and the best part is the tax and drug laws have not been created or anything. So we can mold those into something that we want. So I'm going to start announcing that.
Hey, Ben, how about we run against them?
We're here for a better Asgardia.
I think somebody's got to, put up a fight here.
Well,
to just get
I'm announcing that Ben and I are going to run against you guys. We're going to make Asgardia great again.
Yeah, well, the Constitution doesn't have all mispronounced words, so you wouldn't be able to understand it. So
yet it doesn't.
But you can. I'm going to go back to this. Look at him. He's staring me down. Look at this guy. So you can go to StevieRichardsFitness.com. Check out the 12-week resistance band training program. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Stevie Richards. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I just uploaded a full review on this wearable that's comparable to the Garmin Fenix 5, which is like a $700 multi-sport GPS watch. This one's $200, and it really does perform just as well as the Garmin. So check out that review. Also at BW Stevie on Twitter. I've been blocked by Satin yet either, so I got to work harder at that. And I haven't tweeted him yet, so maybe that's why he hasn't blocked me.
That's why, man.
And that's about it. What else do I have? ProWrestlingTees.com/Stevie Richards. And the Guidestones documentary will be coming soon, the mini doc. But the priority is getting this stuff filmed. So follow all our social media because we'll be doing Facebook Lives. We'll be doing Instagram stories. We'll be tweeting all this stuff out. And we'll be on Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen with the live podcast at 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Awesome, man. Sally?
I'll be doing everything you guys just said.
Can't wait, man.
I'm extremely excited to go up to New Rome, and it's my little mini vacation. And I promise, if it is over fucking 60 degrees, it is going to be way too hot. I'm going to sleep in a lake.
It's going to be hot, man, for sure. It seems like cold in the beginning of this week. It's going to be ball breaking hot by this weekend. So I got the lake, I got the pool for you to splash down in anytime you need to. Just let me know, Sal. We'll easily take a big guy break. There's no doubt about that, man. But it's going to be an awesome weekend. Conspiracy Horsemen, all 4 of us in the flesh. We've been to 3 of us at a time in different conglomerates. So to have all 4 of us is going to be great photo opportunities. So if you guys are there, you're not going to want to miss out there on getting your picture taken with us, which we'll charge a modest sum for, I'm sure. But yeah, you guys know the show. It's all been this weekend at in Rome, New York. The ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Hameen, at Hacker Hameen on Instagram. You don't want to miss out. Some new $5 face slaps up there. Some good pictures from this weekend's crazy show as that all went down. Those guys like that one. And we'll definitely be on this weekend with another Conspiracy Horseman episode, you guys. So it's all of us all weekend long, keeping you guys entertained. So tune in. We appreciate all the love and support from the mailbag. Keeps us aware, keeps us driven, and keeps the conversation going. So y'all law infidels, it's your Wednesday night, 6:15 Eastern, twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, Moment of Truth, Realm Brand Network, brought to you by 350daysthemovie.com, CanYouHandlebar.com, and my man Phil Farda out there at stagetimetrivia.com. Save 10% with the code Hameen, infidels. Get your time on, and we'll see you this Saturday at all bin. Y'all.
Dude, Skype's updating again. What the fuck, man?